All right. Bear with me just a moment here. I just want to check and get everything situated quickly. Um, Excuse if you hear the background noise. I am out here in nature right now, so apologize about the background noise. Let me just drop a link in the chat. Let me just make sure the volume's working well. All right, looks like volume's working. Let me just put a link in the chat down below. Our guest on the show tonight is going to be a brother by the name of LOP. Actually, he's there in the chat. He said, "Hey man, I'll probably be 10 minutes late. Is that okay?" Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Take your time. Okay, if you need a couple more minutes, before you can jump on the show, that's fine. Take your time. Um, I'm not sure how long we'll go for tonight. But we'll see. The brother just reached out to me and he wanted to come on the show and have a discussion. From what I take from it, he wanted to discuss the eschatology and the kingdom being here on earth today, because he said something very interesting in the email he sent me. He sent me something along the lines of that he believes that that he felt the kingdom here on earth. Okay, so that's interesting. I want to bring him on so we can we can talk. Okay, we can reason together and go over scriptures, right? Because I'm not sure if this brother subscribes to um preterism. Okay, I'm not sure on that, so we can ask him that question when he comes on here. Bear with me a moment. I'm just walking down a little hill here. Um, let's see. So yeah, we're just gonna have a discussion, right? And if Mind of God stops by or whatever, we'll bring him on to the show. Okay, another one show as well that's coming up was I was supposed to do it yesterday. But the brother, excuse my stutter, reached out to me at the last moment and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to reschedule for next week." So I told him, "Hey man, that's cool. That's cool. We'll do the discussion next week." The brother wanted to come on and discuss the topics of the Trinity and let's say the Trinity, salvation for all men, and there's another topic I wanted to discuss as well. But yeah, that was supposed to be yesterday, but I'm gonna move that to this coming week, right? So this coming week we will bring him on the show and we'll discuss that when he comes on here. Um, Excuse me a moment. I'm just going down by the river here. So yeah, I was just gonna wait for him to come on here. Apparently, as he said, he needed a couple more minutes of time. So that's cool. We'll give him his time that he needs. And we're just looking to have a nice, friendly, may I say, discussion with him. Okay. See real quick. But as far as oh, I wanted to say this as well. I reached out to this one guy out there that goes by the name of Nephilim Free. Hey, mind of God, I see you in the chat, man. Click that link. We're bringing LOP on tonight to have a discussion about eschatology and the kingdom being here now. So this is going to be a good show, man. Right? So when you're able, click that link, as the Decoon would say. So I reached out to Nephilim 3, right? And it turns out that he said, dealing with the topic of the of the flat earth, right? He basically said that well, that topic is too weird to discuss. It's like, so I'm not even willing to engage, in a conversation about that topic because it's such, so weird, so weird. Now, let me see. Hey, mind of God, you able to hear me, man?
Yeah, ATT, what's up, man? Good evening. How's everything?
I'm surviving. I'm surviving. How about yourself?
Why do you always sound so sad, man? We're not in the last days. This is the kingdom. Why are you always sad?
Oh, that is true. That is true.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing. What's up, man?
Yeah, man. Anyway, we have LOP coming on the show in a few minutes here. He wanted to
That's cool.
discuss the topic of he wanted to discuss eschatology, which basically is, the end times, and he
Yeah.
also wanted to discuss something along the lines of the kingdom being here because he sent me an email and was basically saying, that he felt the kingdom, here on earth. So I thought that was interesting. So I invited him on, to talk with us for a little bit. So and also I was yesterday I was gonna go live with the other brother who reached out to me. He wanted to discuss the Trinity, but then he reached out to me and said we had to, do it next week because his schedule got messed up. So that's cool. We'll do that discussion next week.
Yeah.
Just put that out there because I know some people were looking for that. But yeah, that's what happened with that. So yeah, we're just waiting for LOP to come on here. We'll give him a couple more minutes. But
Wait, sorry,
did
man.
you
I got a
see?
question. I got a question. Did you say LOP believes the kingdom is here, or is that somebody else?
He said something interesting. LOP said in a message he sent me. He's basically said that I felt the kingdom or something like that. You're gonna have to ask him when it comes
Okay,
on.
no, that's
So
cool. I was
basically,
just wondering. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. So I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm not sure if he teaches somewhat type of preterism or something like that. But we're gonna ask him when he comes on the show here. But anyway, Nephilim Free, I sent him that video we did where we talked about him the other day, and basically he was saying, "Oh, well, those guys, they misrepresented, what I believe, and as far as the flat Earth goes, I'm not even willing to discuss that because it's such a ridiculous belief to have." What are your thoughts on that?
That's crazy, dude. Like, I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I think you probably know my opinion on that. If somebody's closed-minded on that topic with how advanced it is now, it's different if it was early in the game, but it's so mature now, the argument for the flat Earth. Then I would just assume that they're not allowed to talk about it. Like a lot
Hey,
of people.
man, I mean,
Yeah.
in your free time, you should send him a message on Gmail, man, because I mean, you can probably, you'll probably be able to, discuss with him because I'm sure if you send him an email, he'll at least respond. You know what I'm saying? So,
But dude,
in your free
that's why I
time,
asked you. But ET, that's why I asked you. I think a couple hangouts ago. How hard or easy is it for you to take somebody seriously who, first of all, is a staunch ball earther? That's one thing. But then somebody who doesn't even want to discuss the opposing view, that's even worse. At this point, it's like, yeah, we could talk to them and make fun of them, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, maybe we could talk him into having a discussion on the subject because I was like, well, why? And I sent him that one verse that says, that if a man asks you a question, you got to answer it. Because I asked him a certain question dealing
Yeah.
with the whole earth, and he was basically like, well, I don't talk about that topic. It's like, okay, well, the scriptures say that you got to answer a question when a man asked you, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, he didn't know that part because remember he teaches that the people over in Israel today, those are the Lord's chosen people. That and that guy got to be smoking crack.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
But dude, you're not a
LOP.
man yet. You're 19, so you can't ask that. Maybe me because I'm older. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
Inside joke. I think yeah, we got Joseph on here with us.
Hello.
Joseph, you
Yeah,
able to
that's
hear us?
me. Hello. I
Yeah,
sorry.
we hear you
I
loud and clear.
messaged. Is yeah? Can you hear me well? Better than last time because I have you. I'm using the phone now.
Yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I thought. Sorry, said I was gonna be 10 minutes late. So I am 10 minutes late. 11 actually. But yeah.
It's cool. It's no problem, man. That's all cool.
So how are you guys doing, man?
I'm surviving.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me too. Yeah, surviving. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
So,
I'm yeah.
yeah, sorry to cut you off, man. My internet's a little slow, so I apologize if I talk over you in advance. It's not that I'm trying to.
No, no worries. No,
Um,
I was just gonna say that I have like some allergies, I guess, or something. So, but other than that, also struggling with other things, panic attacks. You know, but I'm trying to kind of balance it with I know what kind of prevents it, so I'm trying to do what I can. You know what I mean? Just like
yeah,
to survive and stuff. Yeah.
right, right. One thing I did want to ask you, man, just to start our discussion off.
All right.
You said something along the lines of, the kingdom was here on earth today. Can you, elaborate on us and tell us what you think about that?
Well, if you mean the email, excuse me, if you mean the email conversation, then you asked me in the email, what do you think about the kingdom of God being on earth? Something like that. And I replied to you that I think it's wait, I can actually pull up the email what exactly I said because where was it? Uh, oh yeah, I hear it now because you asked me uh the initial question was, do you believe in preterism? And I'm not quite sure what that is, so I didn't answer that. But you said, "Is the kingdom here now?" Did you mean the kingdom, like the kingdom of God, heaven, or kingdom of God, or what did you exactly mean? Because that's, you know, I, I'm not sure if I understood correctly. Did you mean kingdom of
Okay.
God?
Okay,
Uh,
I'll reiterate that then, because in the email, you didn't make it clear to me if you understood or not. So that's okay. I'll
yeah,
I'll
I'm sorry. Yeah,
reiterate. Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool, man. I'll reiterate the question. Because when
Hmm.
I read it, it sounded like, well, he said that he feels like the kingdom is here now. So I didn't know if you were saying that, like, you feel as if the kingdom's here today. And by the way, the word preterism, right, or preterist basically means that they believe that, eschatology, a lot of that's been fulfilled, in history, and some of them believe that the kingdom's here now. Not all of them believe that, but
Oh, I
some of
get you
them
now.
do
Yeah.
teach it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you subscribe to any of those teachings?
No, no. But you see, okay, so let me see because I just found my reply to your email. So I said that like it's a hard question, but I said the kingdom is here for those who can find it. So basically, what I meant by that, I can clarify because I had this kind of experience back in 2008. I mean, long time ago, but I truly like I was right like on earth and everything, and but I felt like for about 40 days or so, I felt that I'm actually in the kingdom of heaven already. You know what I mean? But yes, then it's vanished after I don't know. It was about 40 days, like 5 weeks or so. But the point is that I was able to actually feel the kingdom of heaven right here on earth, albeit for a limited time, but still. So that was my point. That actually, I do believe that the kingdom of heaven can be felt and found on earth. But for me, it was for only briefly, as I said, for about 5 weeks or so. But so that was my response. That I was able to find it, but then I lost the heaven shortly after
Okay.
I
Um,
left
just
the
just so I
location.
know, just so I know, what do you mean by being able to like feel the kingdom? What does that feel like? Just so for my education.
Well, it's if you have never had kind of this kind of experience, then it's very hard to describe. Like imagine the most powerful, like the most amazing euphoria, bliss, and the most amazing feeling that you ever felt in your life, and multiply it by you know 1,000 or something. It was like indescribable. It's so amazing. I felt like I felt complete peace and power as well. Like I felt powerful, like I felt immortality. I felt, it's just a complete peace too, like, and love everywhere. And it's just so hard to describe. The feeling was so amazing that that I don't know what to compare it to, other than just take the best things about that you have ever felt, and and multiply it even more, because it was that great. And it happened only once in my life, yes, but and then it went away. So I'm not entirely sure what was it, God showing me like a glimpse to the real kingdom of heaven for a few weeks, or what was that about? But it was really something,
Let me see real quick. Mind of God, do you have anything you want to comment on this?
I just don't know if if you're maybe we're not trying to force you into a particular theological stance, by the way, when ETT asks you that. We're just trying to understand what you believe. So if you had an experience like that and that's sacred to you, no worries. We're just more trying to understand your vantage point, because there are other people, it doesn't sound like you, who actually believe we're living in God's kingdom right now, like the fullness of it. And it sounds like you're not of that teaching.
Exactly. I don't.
Right, okay.
I was just sharing experience that I have experienced some kind of, and this is very important to me, because this is the only, what I actually believe, that this is the time is the only time I felt really alive, and most of my life after that was just like feeling like I'm dead inside. You know what I mean? But this was different, and it happened only in one certain place. And I don't want to go into all the story, because this story is very, it's a bit, has many layers to it, and I don't want, like, if you certainly want to talk about other things, I guess, but I just, for me, but yeah, but as for your question, no, I don't believe that point of view, that the kingdom is already here. No, I just think that that was a kind of a fluke, if you will, what happened to me. Like, it was God gave me this kind of experience, and just for me, because nobody else experienced it except for me at that time. So and many people I know have a similar experience.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it lasted. It always, so if it didn't last, of course the kingdom is not here, and this was just maybe God kind of giving me a glimpse of heaven, as I said, So that's
I've heard of other people, even like on drugs like MDMA and stuff, and they've described their experience where it felt like they were literally just like in a coma, where they didn't want to move, and they just felt like euphoria. They didn't feel like they needed to move or go anywhere or pursue anything. It was literally just I kind of would say, a form of heaven. And I do believe that God gives us those even without drugs, of course. So
because
yeah,
exactly, I achieved all of this without any drug. I was only 18 at the time, and I didn't take any drugs at that time, of course.
Yeah.
So of course, but it kind of led. I don't want to get into the whole story, but it led to me being confined in a mental ward, mental hospital, and so then they gave me those kind of pills that they give for people who, because there was an accident that happened also, and but that's not important. The important is that the heaven stayed, even though the doctors gave me this kind of antipsychotic pills that they give people who have shown some kind of if you're gonna tell people and tell them, hey, I'm immortal, and and I also had an accident, so, and I was acting a little bit like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, if you're gonna experience something like that, you're gonna be a bit different than what normal people are, so.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Here real quick, before I let Mana God jump in, I'll say, okay, well, I thank you for clarifying that for me, because I wasn't sure what you meant by that, but I thank you for clarifying. But after Mind of God gives us 2 cents, we'll move into the eschatology, right? Because I know you wanted to speak about that. I'm interested in hearing your questions or your view on that. So Mind of God, anything that you wanted to throw in there?
No, that's good. I'll just read the definition of eschatology as we begin this discussion, just for people to understand. That's a $1 million word, so to speak. The part of theology concerned with death, judgment, and the final destiny of the soul and of humankind. I'll pass it back to you, ETT.
Right, right. And basically, we're just gonna see what our brother here subscribes to, and we can, go back and forth on it because we might see differently, but hey, we can all have a discussion. So LOP, what were the subjects you wanted to bring up regarding this matter?
Well, hey, can I just ask before we jump into this topic? Can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a thing with Mind of God, because I commented on his channel and I already deleted that comment, but because I felt like you guys are friends, and then he told me that you are a Satanist because you believe that Jesus. No, I'm not trying to cause any troubles here, bro.
No, we don't mind. We don't mind.
No, but okay. So, and then I made some arguments, and you called me. So you know what you called me. So,
Yeah.
But I just want to say that I didn't mean to offend. I mean, offend any of you. I just said, yes, what I said. The argument is a bit uncommon, but
yeah.
But like I this is what like you said. I mean, I said that, like Jesus said, the words that I speak, they are like my flesh is not important. So I was saying to the point that it's not really that important in what manner Christ was born, at least the way I see it. But everybody sees it differently, so I understand. But you don't have to call me a moron because of that. You know what I mean? Like
I would say this is why we ETT and I have people on here, actually, is it matters to us. It matters to us a lot, or else we wouldn't do this. We would just go play golf or just do something else with our time. So don't take offense personally, but even when we were ball earthers, it took a large amount for us to jump over and become a flat earther. We had to swallow our pride. We had to understand we were deceived. We had to believe that truth mattered in order to jump into the flat earth camp, for example. And that's just one of the many truths that we know. And it requires sacrifice, and it's important, or else what's the point? Who cares what the
but my
is?
point.
Let me finish my point.
Okay.
So I just want you to know, and this is not to be rude, but we believe that all the truths that we gather, and him and I have we have a common set, and then we have an uncommon set. It's like our treasure. It's literally like you coming into my house and being like, oh, I hate your wallpaper. Your couch is disgusting. I hate, your fridge. Just essentially.
I never said that, though.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you my vantage point. I'm saying that each one of these truths that I teach and I've acquired over the years are absolutely sacred, more sacred than my family, more sacred than even my own body. And so that's why just because it doesn't matter to you doesn't mean that it doesn't matter to me. And so if these truths, and not all of them, because some of them are subtle, but the ones that I believe are obvious, I cling to them with everything that I have, literally body and soul. And so that's the stance that anybody comes by my channel, they're going to have to make sure that whatever they teach or their opinion has to be consistent with the Bible, because that's my personal life preserver in the times that we live in now and really throughout human history. So that's the angle with which I always respond. And so if that's not for you, if you're more casual about it, it's okay, a little bit here and there, no big deal.
No, I'm not. But I was trying to point out in my comment the definition of blasphemy against the Holy Ghost is that that Jesus explained it himself. So I was not wrong what I said.
Where did he explain it?
When the Pharisees were saying Jesus, he is casting the devils out through Beelzebub, the prince of the devils, and at that point Jesus said, those those that blaspheme against the Son of Man are going to be forgiven, but those that blaspheme against the Holy Ghost shall never be forgiven. And he said that after the Pharisees just said that he's casting out demons through the power of Satan. So that is the only definition that we know of, at least in the Gospels, from Jesus, is the blasphemy against the Holy Ghost. Now, you said that you didn't even regard that comment that I said.
No, it's true, because that's the Holy Ghost that and Mary were the ones that involved in bringing Christ into this world. So blasphemy, if you read just the definition, the act or offense of speaking sacrilegiously about God or sacred things. And so if ETT, for example, teaches that Christ was born of man and woman, then he's replacing the work of the Holy Spirit or Holy Ghost with man, with Joseph. And so that is blasphemy, because you're taking credit away. Well, let me finish my point. You're taking credit away from the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit, which is the representative of the Father. Because again, the Father cannot be contained in a human body, or else it would explode. So his work on the earth that's independent of Christ is through the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost. And that Spirit is the one that interacts with the elect, which I believe that I'm one of. So you can't come by my channel and just make up random stuff and then expect me to go along with it when these truths that I've acquired over the years are sacred. Okay? I'm not going to go and hang around with somebody who says my God was born of a man and woman when that's not in the scriptures, and just be okay with it, just to appease you.
Okay, can I answer? Because I never said that, though. You said that that what I can I call you by your real name or whatever?
Yeah, it's Sharek.
Okay,
it's Sharek.
Sharek, he said, you say he believes that Christ was born by man and woman.
That's what he teaches.
I did not even say what I believe. So, and I'm, so.
You weren't in the discussion. You were offended by me calling him that. If he's wrong about that, he is a Satanist. And if I'm wrong about it, then I'm a Satanist, because that's not what the Bible teaches. If you're against God, then you're a Satanist. Everybody who is against Christ is Antichrist, according to the Bible. You're either for Christ or against Christ. So if he's right, he has a better chance, or is on God's right-hand side. And if I'm right, then I have a better chance, and he can't be, because that teaching is fundamental. First of all, it's clear, and there's two sides to it. There's no middle ground. And there's only two options. You know what I mean? Like only one can be right.
Yeah, I agree
all
with
right,
that.
Let me. I'm gonna let LOP respond to it, but then I just want to say, another day we can all come on and we can debate, the topic of the virgin birth. That's definitely fine, and we can do that in the future. But I do want to keep the show centered around the topics that we wanted to come on and discuss. So I'll let LOP finish his statement, and then we'll go back to what we were previously discussing. And as I said, in the future, if you guys want to come on the show and we can debate this topic, and that's certainly fine. We can work on that in the future. So LOP, I'll let you continue your statement.
Well, no, I actually, what he said is true, that, if you're right, then, and he's wrong, and all that stuff. So, as he said, okay, we can discuss other topics, because I am not really entirely sure, positive on this topic. So, I mean, the virgin birth.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't
so
have
we
to,
can,
but just know ETT is. I was not against you. The part that I called you an idiot or stupid at the end was because you didn't understand that we're on two separate teams and we're comfortable with it. So it's only when you started defending him too much. It wasn't that you weren't clear or anything like that. Just know ETT and I are very aware of what we agree on and disagree on. And he even says this all the time. He's taking a quote unquote risk. I'm taking a quote unquote risk. Why? Because I get on YouTube, a public platform, and teach things about the Bible. If I'm wrong, if the two witnesses are not the two men in Acts 1:10-11, then I'm Antichrist. If that doesn't happen, then T-Mog is a Satanist. I say that all the time. Okay. And ETT knows that. If that doesn't happen, then I would be more inclined to believe his teaching, or GMS or Sakari. Shout out D. Kuhn.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah. So I'm saying that this is why him and I are quote unquote frenemies, because first of all, we both understand each other's teaching. And I would say the part that I would say I'm friendly with people in general who are into the Bible is that, let's just say the Bible is not the word of God, and the government's trolling the Bible. Let's just say 0.00001% chance that's happening. Then I would say ETT and I have a lot in common. Why? Because we took years and years of our life and dedicated it to the Bible for nothing. Like, we could have literally chased women around, we could have chased money, we could have chased all these things. It was a waste of time. That's the part where I relate to him. I think more and more him and I know that, we're going to start seeing who's right, literally in the sky. I'll pass it back to you.
Yes, well, I mean, I'm on the same side because I've told you on the last podcast that I've been researching the Bible and reading it for many, many years. So I've been, I've also kind of did nothing else pretty much, especially in the early years, like 2009 till like 2015. I did almost nothing except for studying the scriptures and all that stuff. So
that's great. That's great.
So I'm similar in that way, I guess. But yeah, anyway.
It's a good place for you, man. Honestly, the one thing I'll say about ETT is that he doesn't have all the theater and all the meanness that the other places have. So I would say for people who really want to learn and not get made fun of, and you come here and you're sincere and you're not like trolling, this is a good place. We know a lot. We don't know everything, but
yeah, he's very he's very I wanted to say even earlier that when Samuel Owen joined the stream, he was surprisingly very calm and kind to him, even though Samuel was shouting and yelling and being a little bit disrespectful. He was calling you names and stuff. So I mean, I probably, I had a live stream with Sam. I just want to say it was about 4-5 months ago. And he also started shouting at me, and
Jeez.
I kind of I was a bit shook up.
Just so you know, I don't want to answer for End Time Seizure, but just so you know, him and I've heard a little bit through his own mouth that we've heard worse from our own family. Oh, you're a Satanist. Oh, we've heard that from our own family. So when we go on YouTube, we are like, we can deal with it, because we've heard it all before. So just know that, you can't insult us. Why? Because we believe we'll have the truth. That's more powerful than lies. I'll pass it back to you.
I mean, hell, just to say something, I want to throw in there, man. Hey, look, I heard it all, man. I've had guys on there, going, years back. What they did is they made videos saying that, we molested them as children and stuff like that and put that against us. But you know what? They came to me and said, hey, man, I'm sorry. Forgive me for that. I told them, hey, look, man, just take it down and it's cool, right? I'm not going to hold it against you. But yeah, that's a serious thing. So yeah, in this thing of ours, as Apostle Gabar calls it, we seen it all, man. We seen all of what they can throw at you, in this truth. Okay, so yeah, as I said, with Samuel, I brought him on to have a discussion with him, which I already knew that it was going to go that way because he's on there saying that he is the Christ. It's like, okay, so I really just wanted to have some fun with him, but keep it respectable. I tried to be nice with him. I just asked him, a couple questions. Like one question I asked him, I had to repeat it 7 times because each time we'll just talk about something else, so I was respectable with him. He, acted all out. Like even one point in this stream, he just showed that he was the Son of Man and that he's ruling today with a sword and a rod of iron. He actually went and grabbed a sword and a broomstick and said, "We'll see." Yeah, that guy's a damn joke, man. But hey, look, I was just being sarcastic with that guy, just pretty much for some entertainment, But anyway, we'll move back onto, the eschatology, right? Because I'm interested in seeing what you wanted to talk about. But before we do that, I did want to ask another question. I mean, I did ask last time, but I couldn't hear very well because of the mic. But what is your thoughts dealing with, hell in the scriptures or whatnot?
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry about last time. My laptop was broken.
It's okay.
But anyways, well, yeah. What I said last time is I believe that this life is already some form of hell. That's what I believe. And then and what we know from the scriptures that hell is Jesus talked about it, and in the Old Testament it was mostly just Sheol, right? And
yes,
yeah, but I view this existence right on earth as some form of hell, because if you look at it, this life isn't a paradise, and it's not. So what else is it then? Like, is it a test, this life? But it sure seems like hell to me. Like, look at our lives. I don't know you guys' lives, but my life, it's been like I don't want to say like 100% hell, but definitely like 90% hell, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I would agree.
And that's a fact.
Yep.
So that's my view. And as for so and we know what the scriptures say.
Okay, I'm in agreement. I am in agreement with what you're saying, but just so I can understand, I understand your viewpoint on that. But do you also believe that that there's a place like when you die, do you go to hell, or in the future is there going to be a place that's called hell, or is it just the physical earth that we live on?
Well, that's a tough question. I am not 100%, because for real, like, we cannot know for 100%, but I believe in the afterlife, yes, but it's hard to say. I believe, like, I think that definitely, if this life is some sort of test, then there should be consequences for all our action. That Jesus said, every idle word and every action shall be, kind of judged by the Most High, right? So then there will be consequences for our evil deeds, and so forth, right? So that's,
Yes.
I think that determines our actions here on earth, or determines, I guess, what happens after we're gone.
Mighty
But
God, you want to throw anything in on that?
Yeah, I mean, I like that, dude. Just so you know, LOP, we're not that type of people. We're not looking for the right answer. We keep it what's called 8 more than 92. We keep it 100. So don't worry. Like, this is not a quiz or anything. We're not those kind of people. We're just trying to get a sense of where you're at. There's certain things that ETTI agree on, like hell, that we understand it's a physical place, it's a mental condition, it's an actual lake of fire here on earth, and the Bible supports that actually in every single reference. But so yeah, I would definitely echo your statement about 90% hell. I would say, for me, now that I know that the earth is flat, I would increase that, just because I'm bitter. I'm like, well, why couldn't I have just gone through life knowing that it's flat? I would still probably do similar things, go to school, learn, try to get a job, but I may be a little bit higher, but yeah, I would put my number around that amount. So I'll pass it to DTT.
Yeah. So I just asked the question, just so we could get your understanding on it, your viewpoint. But yeah, going back to what we came on here to discuss, I'll let you bring up certain topics regarding that matter that you wanted to discuss with us. So I'll throw the mic back to you, LOP.
Well, yeah. So, but what was it exactly that we agreed to discuss about? I forgot.
Well, dude, let's just go through the
end
list. Let's just go through
right?
the list of the main topics that are happening. Theological points, if you want. I have a
Yeah,
list.
like, let me ask this. Let me ask
you
this
can do that.
regarding the end times. Are we in those times now? And if so, let's say, for an example, are we in those times now? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe, like, absolutely, we are in those times. I didn't know for sure, like, back in 2017 or so, but right now it seems to be heading that direction for damn sure.
That's good. We pretty much have to be, or else the Bible is not true, in my opinion. I mean, it's kind of now or never. So this is amazing. Yeah.
People been, I know guys out there, man, who will say, well, people been saying that, since Christ was killed. Because if you read, Skip Cheese, the apostles thought that Christ was going to return and bring the kingdom, back when they were there. They didn't know that they're going to have to, be brought back again, later on in time, have to teach it to people again, right? They thought that all this was going to happen, back in their time, 2,000 years ago, but they didn't know that Christ was actually referring to, in the time that we're in, right now. So,
Right.
yeah, man, we just got to consider ourselves, lucky as far as, that we know this. Now, LOP, let me ask a question real quick. As far as
ETT,
the
can I read a
topic of
verse? Can I read a verse? Sorry, in
yeah,
line with
yeah,
that,
go
if you
ahead.
don't mind.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just related to that what ETT said about people have been saying this since Christ's death, right? Revelation 5:4. And I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look therein. Verse 5, and one of the elders said unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals thereof. So after Christ's death, officially, this book was being revealed. What book is this? It's the book of Revelation. So it is true, in fact, that the end times has begun right after Christ's sacrifice. And so now, over the years from then till now, he's been revealing these quote unquote secrets to his elect. So it is actually true that we've been in the end times for thousands of years. We're just at the end of the end, so to speak. Verse 6, and I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having seven horns and 7 eyes. These are reflective of these so-called UFOs, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 4 and the 20 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Listen to this, and they sung a new song, saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and hast made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. And that's during Christ's time. So it is true. And in fact, we have support here. This is essentially a religious ceremony that's taking place. And then John the Revelator is weeping because who is worthy but then Christ or Yahushua is found worthy. So we are in the end times.
Right. Agreed on that. Now, I wanted to ask LOP regarding the topic of the Antichrist. Do you believe that's one individual person, or what are your views on that, LOP? Oh, I didn't realize LOP actually dropped out of the chat. Let me just put a link in the chat for him real quick. Oh, we got Awakened Pennsylvanian here in the chat. Maybe he'll jump on with us.
AP.
But yeah, LOP, I'm gonna put a link back for you, man. I don't know. Maybe you accidentally hit the wrong button. I'm not sure. Let me just put a link in there. We'll try to get him back on. But yeah, as I said, man. Oh, let's see. All right, we got him back. We just had him.
Shit.
Okay.
Hello?
You're on, man. Yeah, we hear you.
No, but I can't hear you, man. Something's wrong with my phone, I guess.
We can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear us now?
Very, very low volume. I don't know what's happening, man. I accidentally clicked off this.
Let's see. Here, if you leave the room again and then join, click the link, and that should fix the problem.
Wait, I have an idea.
Hello? We got to ask him about the flat Earth too.
Yeah, we hear you, Joseph. Can you hear us?
This is working right now.
All right, because yeah, we can hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear us or not.
Shout out Ronnie, man. R.I.P. Ronnie. While we have a break here, this is it.
yeah, man. As I said, I mean, yeah, this truly has to be it, man. But yet they'll have these guys on there, like, and I know some of them, right? Like, oh, well, people have been saying that forever, so it's no different today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But that's the people that we're dealing with, out here, and these are people who are, in the, so-called, religious, community, right?
Yeah.
Joseph, we can hear you, Joseph. So I don't know why it's on your end not working. But yeah, if you leave the room and join again, it should fix the problem.
Is my working? Yeah, it is. Cool.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, that's good, man. That's good. So you know,
I'm
you
on
got everything
computer
back up and
now.
working? Okay, let me just. All right. Okay, we got you on.
I had some problems on my phone there.
All right, let me. Okay, I took your I took the other one of you off, so we only have your computer one on here now with us. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I do now.
Okay, good. Yeah, your voice is clear on here, so I'm not sure what happened the other day, but yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, because the other day my laptop's ventilation was broken, so it was making too much noise. So now it should work well. Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Where did we leave off on? Mighty God, you wanted to ask him about the flat Earth?
Yeah. LOP, what are your thoughts on that? Are you aware that people even believe that the Earth is flat, stationary, and what's your position on that?
Yes. I mean, I first heard about it back in 2015, I think, or 14.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I did some research back then, and I also researched the concave Earth and
Oh, we're gonna get Samuel to do 100 videos on us because you mentioned that.
I gotta ask you, LOP.
No.
But
Hey.
LOP, you said you talked to
Sorry.
Samuel. Did you say you had a live stream with him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so like when was that? I'm just curious. Like, and what motivated you to reach out to him? You're interested in the concave?
No, actually, he reached out to me because, well, okay, this is a long story because I've known him for quite a while now, almost 2 years, and he had some problems with his ex, and I kind of, you know, talked to him and you know, tried to kind of be friends with him and stuff, but you know,
He seems friendly.
Yeah, he is.
No, but like he can be for a certain time, but when you disagree in one thing, he goes ballistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
he
being
has some
serious. I'm
issues.
being serious. I do agree that he can certainly be friendly at certain times as long as you know you're in agreement with him. But
Yeah,
as soon
right.
as as soon as you question him, saying, "Well, if you are Christ, well, how do you fulfill the prophecy of Christ returning?" And then he says, then he goes and grabs a sword and a broom and says, "Well, see, I'm ruling on earth today." And then you ask him, "Well, wait a second. Well, like this earthquake that just happened in I believe it was Haiti that killed 1,200 people and injured thousands." It's like, well, if Christ is ruling on earth today, well, why are such great calamities happen? You ask him that, and it's like, well, he'll move on to a different subject because he don't really want to talk about that part. You know what I'm saying?
You know what he'll do? ETT, he'll blame us. He's like, well, you haven't accepted my seed. You haven't expanded my kingdom. So he'll blame us for the earthquakes. It's like, really, man?
Right.
He's sick, dude. Shout out
Yeah.
Samuel, man. Peace.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to say the concave Earth is. I have heard about it much earlier than I even knew who Samuel Owen was from that Lord Stephen Christ guy. Some calls him LSC, but he went by. I don't know if you guys know him, but he was the first one. He was preaching about concave Earth since 2008 on YouTube. But I discovered his channel back in 2000. I think it was 15 as well. 2015. About the same time, I discovered like the flat Earth videos that were like starting that year, I guess. More. I mean, I know they were before too, but like in 2015, they were like more people shared it with me and stuff. And and at the same time, I discovered this guy, the Lord Stephen Christ. I think his real name is Stephen Christopher, or Stephen Joseph Christopher, and he's right now in prison for threatening Donald Trump, and he's in federal prison, but in psych ward of the prison. So I guess it's not that bad.
Damn, dude.
I'm just kidding.
That's
it must
intense.
Be horrible. Yeah, I mean, it must be horrible.
These people on
but
YouTube
this guy is
serious,
crazy,
man.
bro. This guy is much even crazier than Sam. I think was because he was like well, this is a there's this guy on YouTube, Omni Aris, and he is the one who provoked him enough to kind of he takes credit to get him into a prison, which he kind of did because he called the FBI and
the LOP. I got to ask you a question. And not to put you on the spot because you don't have to. I'm scared to ask Samuel because I worry what he's going to say to me. But do they believe that water is concave, or do they believe the Earth is concave? Do they believe water bends upwards?
I'm not scared of Sam, and
I am.
Yes. Yeah. Why?
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. But so they believe water bends upwards too?
Yes.
Okay. So do they explain what force would cause that? Like, why would it lift up at the ends or wherever? I guess everywhere.
Okay. So I don't know this from Sam. I know it from the Stephen guy, because he did explain it in some way, and he said that basically the way it works is like in the womb of a mother, that you have water, and he said something like the water there is also kind of curving upward. He said that, so I don't know whether that's, and also he said some other examples, like if you pour a glass, water into a glass, then you can see the edges, it kind of curves up a bit. So
yeah, that we have an explanation for. That we have an explanation for, because the water.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say real quick, I'm going to be back in 20 minutes. I'm going to leave the show for 20 minutes just because I have to get back to the house. I'm going to go sit in the car because it's getting dark out now and the mosquitoes are coming out. So I'm going to leave the show on for you guys to go back and forth and, have a discussion. And then I'm going to join the show back when I get home. Sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, man.
All right. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Cool.
Okay, so they believe water actually curves. Oh my gosh! So
yes.
I
mean, how else would it work? Because they believe the whole Earth is like a shell, and we are inside. Basically, they believe we are living inside a sphere. So it's like the convex model, right?
Yeah.
But inverted, completely inverted, and also. This part is very strange because they believe the whole kind of universe, or the stars and so forth, are within the spherical Earth, and the circumference of the Earth is actually so that would mean that the sun is very close, as well as the stars, and it's just bizarre. But I found it interesting because the way Stephen described it is some of the arguments I was actually made me think a bit like, this sounds interesting, and but the way Sam is talking about it is not as convincing as this Stephen guy is my issue with Sam, that he is not as he doesn't know as many arguments as Stephen did, and because he's basically taking his model and he's just adding the Christianity into it, and
exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. It's like, how is that a religion? Just because you may know what the architecture is.
And not only that, but it seems to be copying him, because Lord Stephen Christ declared himself to be the returned Christ, and Sam is doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that I mean, that's what's difficult, because I mean, we can't take his arguments about the architecture seriously, because then he just goes on other rants like about, he's the son of man and planting seeds and all that. So it's like, even if he is saying something true about the shape, we don't know. Like we can't
Right.
we can't even take it seriously. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know if you know about a guy named Arwin. He sometimes talk about a model of the Earth. We don't know. I don't know if what he's saying is true, because
I don't know that guy. No.
yeah, he's
Sorry.
a flat earther. He's
Oh.
been around for years, but he says some things about the model, and it's just because he doesn't say that he's the Christ or anything like that. He believes the Bible is essentially purely symbolic, but it's hard to know whether to take him seriously, because first of all, I don't understand exactly what he's saying about the architecture of the Earth, and then they come across their Bible non-literalists is another way to put it. So it's just hard to take them seriously on a religious.
Oh, I was going to ask, the last time you mentioned, do you know the guy God Rules? I mean, his name is Tony, but you mentioned him, I think, last time. That you kind of, or was it ETT who mentioned this guy? God Rules channel on YouTube.
I've never heard that. No, it wasn't me.
So it was ETT, I think it was. Yeah, he's one of the guys that like was not. He believed some kind of in shape of the Earth, like a mixture, like a mix of flat Earth and the concave Earth. So this guy had the very strange theory that the Earth is not like concave, but not really flat either. He believed that the Earth is like a bowl of, that was pretty. That was even crazier actually. But anyway, this guy used to make pretty good videos, and he had a pretty good following, and he had like 400,000 subscribers. So that's quite a lot. Yeah.
I guess what I'd be interested to ask, if somebody accesses the concave people, is their view of the architecture inconsistent with the Bible as we know it as flat earthers, like the pillars and then the stationary and then the four corners and all that? Is their model different than that, or does it fit into that realm? And that's what I'd be curious to know, if there's any contradictions in that regard. But I have a feeling
you mean like if there are any Bible verses that would be supportive of the concave Earth?
Yeah, or
theory,
or is there any, because concave you can still, it's obviously not a ball spinning, right? Which is completely, I think everybody would say that that's wrong. So yes. I just wonder if all the verses that are essentially in the Bible, are they also supportive of the concave? I'd be interested to know if somebody.
Okay, so I do remember a lot of it. So one of the things that I remember is that in the Bible you say you have the Lord's Prayer when he goes, "Thy will be done in heaven," and he says also in earth, and it doesn't say on earth. So there was one of the arguments like in earth. So he said like, well, that means like in earth, because we are inside the earth. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So that was one of the arguments, because it is true that at least in the King James Bible,
that's in the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, exactly.
Many times, and not just there. In many other occasions in the Bible, it says in earth and not on earth. Like, so that's kind of an interesting point, but. Yeah. That could be, we would have to go to check with the original languages what indeed was the definition, indeed inside or like in or on, like as in, but this is kind of hard to translate, I think, from Greek.
I always took that as like it's in the firmament, like it's in the system, I guess, the flat and then the dome, it's in that. That's the way I would view that. But you're right, you'd have to go into the root and then know what was being meant by that.
Yeah, so another point from the Bible that the concave the concave earth argument was, I was gonna bring that up last time, but I didn't have time to find that exact word. But I can find it right now. It was in Isaiah, I think. Wait, let me what was that word? Isaiah. Yes. spread it, like he spreads the heaven, something like a tent.
Yeah, like a
to
tent.
dwell it. Do you know that verse? If you could,
Yeah, I'll find it. Yeah, I got it. I'll look it up.
find it, because I'm just using the Bible Gateway,
Yeah, I got it.
and that page is not that good.
This is the famous one. This is the Isaiah 40:22. So
Okay, 40:22. Okay, let me also look it up and we can read it. Isaiah 40:22.
this is probably the only one that I've heard that people use to support a ball. So it's interesting because people will go to this one for concave potentially, and then go to flat for sure for us, and then other people. This is the only one for a ball.
No, I just want to say it's a bit ironic that according to this one verse, people justify both three models of the Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Like ball Earth,
exactly.
flat Earth, and concave, which is strange. But
I'll read it, LOP,
Sure.
and I'll pass it back to you. I'll read it, then I'll just for the audience. Isaiah 40:22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heaven as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. And that
Right.
he is God that is being referred to. Yep.
Right. So I think the way that Stephen interpreted it was that I guess the stretching out as a curtain. Yeah. Well, I would have to. Yeah. I don't know how it fits in with the Earth. I mean, it's a circle of the Earth. That's true. But so how do the flat Earth people kind of see the circle, because it says circle of the Earth?
Yeah. We see that in other places in Isaiah, he distinguishes between circle and a ball. And so, because he references a term that's meant for that. And so it's a different word. And so we don't take circle as a ball, because in other parts, in other verses in Isaiah, he references a ball. So it's flat. It's
I heard about
two-dimensional. Yeah.
Argument too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one is in Job, in the book of Job, that they refer to as the molten looking glass verse. If I can find it. Yeah, I found it. So it's Job 37:18. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass?
Yeah.
And what they claim, or what Stephen and the concave Earth people believe, is that the sky is basically has a barrier there, which is made out of ice mixed with glass.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So and that's why they explain one of the proofs they say is the Libyan. You remember they found some kind of in Libya. They found some kind of they call it like small meteorites, but that there is the origin is very dubious. But
let me read this other verse, LOP, and I'll do a bit of numerology for people. So this is when Isaiah refers to a ball, and I'll show the numerology. Isaiah 22:18 says, "He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country." And so this is a reference where Isaiah is using an actual ball and not a circle. And look at the numerology, 22:18. If you add that together, you get 40, right? And then Isaiah 40:22 is the one that talks about the circle. So I want people to know God essentially lets us know that these two verses are linked. And so
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 22:18 is, if you read it, add it together, you get 40, and then you get 22 because it's in 22. So these are all linked. And then, this is the argument that flat earthers use, is that Isaiah knew the difference between a circle and a ball.
But did you know about the verse in Job? He spread out the sky and as a molten looking glass. That's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Molten looking glass. So that's maybe referring to the dome, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's somewhat literal, in the construction, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
That it's clear or something.
And then, yeah, in the Bible they say waters above the firmament. So could it mean above this, sky kind of barrier, which is made out of molten looking glass. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, I mean, I
interesting.
think all these are related. Notice how they all have 18 for people who are into numerology. What's 40 minus 22, right? That's that's you know, that's
18.
yeah, that's 18, right? And then Isaiah 22, 18, and then Job 37, 18. So all these three verses have 18 in it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're all God is sort of letting us know that these verses are all related. So
yeah. So I wonder if there's more from some other books of the Bible with 18. Were you were you able to find out some other verses with number 18?
I have a video on it on my channel. There's the number 22 shows up when it references the earth, and I found a handful of examples. There's another one in Joshua 10:12 talks about the flat earth, and so the number 22 I know for sure references the earth, the physical flatness of the earth, and so you see that here because you see that number appearing multiple times. But 18 as well. I mean, all these numbers are just a way of us linking these ideas. But Joshua 10:12, then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day that the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, sun, stand still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. So Joshua was able to make the sun and the moon stop, and if you add 10 plus 12 you get 22. And so 22 I know for a fact is a number that is reflective of the flat earth in the Bible. There's many places,
right?
So, yeah,
I mean, this verse, that the Joshua was able to stop the sun and the moon is proving stationary Earth.
Exactly.
Because in the heliocentrism, of course, you have the Earth moving around the sun. So,
yeah. That's essentially our sort of the point that I'm most sticky about. As long as concavers don't say the Earth moves, then I'll listen to their opinion. I'm
all right,
open.
I'm back. What did I miss?
ETT, dude. Oh my gosh, we figured out everything while you were gone. There's nothing to talk about, man. So I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing. I was asking about concave, but I obviously concavers don't believe that the Earth moves, right? I'm assuming.
No.
Yeah,
no, they don't. They don't.
That's good. So yeah, I mean, he may know some stuff. We don't know. He's too busy yelling at us. Samuel, just take it easy, bro. Like, we want to learn. Stop yelling at us, man. We might learn something. I don't know.
Well, I can still remember some of the experience. It's called rectilineator experiment, where they kind of do this surveying experiment to measure if the Earth curves. And there is supposedly in the early 20th century they were able to do this experiment. They found out that it actually curves upward, but this experiment was never duplicated again. Stephen Christ actually tried to sort of do this experiment back in 2016, I think, but he wasn't able to finish it. So that goes to show that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, why he didn't finish it? If,
LOP,
if he
I gotta
really
tell you
wanted to
something.
prove to the world that the Earth is concave, then he should have finished it.
Yeah,
but he didn't.
I got to tell you something. When I was in a lot of these debates with these ballers, right, and we had a black swan, which I think was released at the beginning of 2020, and it was a major sort of blow to the ball earth because it showed the horizon way in the distance. Like, it's impossible on a ball. But the interesting thing about what the
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
Okay, good. Yeah, man, I don't know what the hell's going on with my internet now. It's funny. I get down here to get back on, and of course, when I get back on, then the internet don't work. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. That, hey, as my father always told me, hey, look, nothing's real except misery and aggravation unless you're rich. You know what I'm saying?
It's true, man. It's a struggle. It's a struggle, dude. But the point I wanted to just quickly say is that black swan, just so you know, LOP, the ballers would actually say the Earth looks more concave than flat. That's what they would say by the numbers. Yeah. Again, I mean, I don't trust anything that they say, but I thought that was kind of interesting that they believe that result actually spoke more of a concave Earth. So
yeah.
Take that for what it's worth. Again,
That's interesting, actually. Yeah.
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 I mean, I view them all as
Hey,
liars.
LOP.
Yeah.
LOP. What about Babylon? What is Babylon to you?
Babylon is you mean the ancient city
No, I'm talking about Mystery Babylon, the new one.
Revelation 17 and 18.
Oh, right. So yeah, there's been many speculation as to what it is exactly. Some people claim it's like New York or USA in general, or some people claim it's the Vatican or
Shout
no,
out
but it's true.
ITR.
It's true. Many people claim it's something else, but I hear most people saying it relates to USA, either that or specifically New York. So I'm not sure really, like
What do you
where.
think? We could give our
Well,
position.
we could actually. Well, it talks about it in Revelation chapter 18. Is that right? I think right.
Yeah.
Revelation
Exactly.
18. So if you look at there might be some clues as to what it actually might be, but Revelation 18. But anyway, give me what you got, what you think.
ETT, you want to take that?
I'll let Mind of God say that because hey, if you've been watching us, you should probably already know that, but we'll reiterate it just for the audience.
Yeah, I would say and I have a feeling ETT and I agree with this to the same level of certainty as well, is that we believe and teach that America is Mystery Babylon and it fulfills the prophecies perfectly. And we live here in America. So
yeah, so I was right in assuming that I assume that you guys believe that it is America indeed. So
yeah. And the implications are actually it's not one of those where certain things I would say it doesn't change the whole eschatology, but if somebody takes a position that it's Vatican or Jerusalem or China or something, it really does affect how you interpret the Bible, because I'm going to do a lesson on this soon that Mystery Babylon shows up in many parts of Revelation, not just in 17 and 18. So if you kind of don't believe that, then it changes the way you interpret the whole Bible. So
yeah,
it's important. So
I mean, it's really, this place is actually the most famous place in the scriptures because it's mentioned in the Old Testament.
Exactly.
And also when it mentions its name, compared to every other place that's mentioned in the scriptures, it mentions it in capital letters, right? So it's the most popular, place in the scriptures, to be correct.
Yeah, I agree. And I want people to understand, when we did that lesson on that, the God of the Bible calls it a whore many times over. So let's say God hated something and we got it wrong and we thought God hated something else, like, and called it a whore, then it's a big problem, because then we don't know what God hates, so that's where it's important. Shout out ITR talking a bunch of nonsense. So hopefully those guys, come out of that, stuff.
Some of the verses in the regarding the whore of Babylon are brutal. Like they say, they shall burn her flesh and eat her flesh, or something like that.
Exactly.
Very gruesome.
Yeah. So if we get it wrong, then that means that we believe God's going to punish something else. So it's a big issue. So we got to get it right.
Oh, but wait, with William Bell, when you read that, I'm going to ask him, do you agree with the text? Because what he'll do is say, well, it says, but this verse says that Christ is going to return when the people back then were alive. So that means it happened. It's like, okay, but what about this verse? It says that they're actually going to eat this woman's flesh. Is that literal? Do you agree with the text? And then when he says, well, I do agree, it says that, but that's not literal. You know what I'm saying? So certain times it is literal. But then when it, they pick and choose whatever fits their doctrine. That's what those guys are out there doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if America is not Mystery Babylon, like I've said many times, I really regret reading the Bible, because then it doesn't make sense. It's like, if God hates Sodom so much and did that, and that's supposed to be a historical fact, then why would God change in modern day? Where is modern day Sodom? Is it in Jerusalem? Do they reflect characteristics of a modern day Sodom? Yeah, because like the Bible says, this place has spread its influence worldwide. Is it China? Does China represent modern day
No,
Sodom? No.
yeah, I mean, no one, influences the whole world as much as the USA.
Exactly.
That's one point. So
Exactly.
When if you guys didn't see it, I believe it was back, what is it, 2016, when Trump and Hillary were running for the presidency. Hillary Clinton said in one of her speeches that once something is pushed out in America, the entire world follows, right? And that goes into the scriptures, right? Because the whole world, they wondered after this beast, right, after Babylon. And
Right.
it's true. Say for an example, with the thing about women's liberation, right? That was an idea that came about in America, but then the other nations bought into that. Say for an example, 3 years ago, Saudi Arabia, they
yeah,
You just dropped ETT.
yeah, he said something about
had influence over the entire world. That's talking about America. That ain't talking about the Catholic Church, because guys be on there saying that the word
it's breaking up a bit.
Yeah, ETT. Just so you know, it's cutting out, man.
in their religion, right? So they'll say, well, see, that's what it's talking about. You guys able to hear me all right?
Dude, can you hear it? It's cutting out. We got the point,
You
but can you hear
only
us?
some of it.
Can you hear me now?
Well,
Yes.
now we can. Can you hear us? It doesn't sound like you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But could you repeat the last thing you said, because you were out for about 30 seconds there.
Okay, yeah, I said that people say that the word Catholic means universal, right? So they'll bring up and say, well, the Catholic Church is making people, making people want to follow after their philosophies. And I do agree they are doing that, but that doesn't prove at their Babylon though, because you got these guys on there saying that Babylon is a religion, right? Just like those guys, the ancient watchmen, they said it's the New World Order religion, right? It's the entire world, as vocab Malone, right? No class Malone, as we call him. Damn coon. He's on there saying that the entire world is Babylon. My God, what are your thoughts on that, coon vocab Malone?
Let me read the verse, ETT, then we can talk about that. I'll just so all the verses you guys are quoting. Revelation 7, just for the audience. Revelation 17, 16 to 18. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. This is what LOP was quoting. Here's verse 17. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, till the words of God shall be fulfilled. Listen to this, verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. China doesn't reign over the kings of the earth. America can have an idea, a stupid TikTok meme, some stupid challenge, and it'll go over the world, across the world overnight, literally overnight.
That's true.
It's what it is. But yeah, vocab's an actor, ETT.
Another thing as well, man, I was actually watching a documentary just this morning about the 9/11, because it's actually the I shouldn't use the word anniversary, but the 20 years since it happened is coming up, just next month here. So people are gonna be talking about that. But I was watching the documentary on it, and they were like, hey, look, when this happened, everybody was watching. The entire world had their eyes glued to the television to see, and that goes into the scriptures, right? Because everybody's gonna be watching when this place goes down, and that proves that the scriptures are true. Because how can people see all this go down? They have television and the internet, right? So it's going to be televised for them to see, but they're also going to be able to look across the ocean and see the the smoke that's coming up from the from this devastation. But yeah, it just shows you, man, if people did that over just a handful of buildings that were taken down, imagine what's going to happen when this whole place gets taken down.
And that wouldn't work on a ball Earth, because we wouldn't be able to see the smoke because it's off the side.
You guys there?
Yeah, ETT.
I want to ask you. So you believe that the whole America is going to be destroyed, like completely?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you seen Independence Day? That movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it's foreshadowed in those kind of movies.
From 1996, the old one, you mean, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing it when I was a kid, so I need to probably watch it again.
I actually
But,
haven't seen it. I've just seen scenes from it, and then there are certain things depicted of it. So I'm not an expert on it. I'm just using that as a reference in movies.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of in the movies. There's a lot of like predictive programming and stuff. You know.
You
Yeah,
guys
big
able to
time.
hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on with this internet, man. I mean, it's hell, pay $100 a month to use the mobile data, and it don't even work. You know what I'm saying? So,
Do you
hey,
have
nothing
a
but aggravation.
Wi-Fi or just data? Data is always.
I have Wi-Fi at the house, but I can't. I don't do my stuff at the house. I do it elsewhere. So I use the
Well,
data,
well,
right? The
that's
mobile
dependent
data.
on the signal. So if you have a weak signal, that means you cannot have bad internet connection as well. So.
Right, that's true. But as I said, I pay a lot of money a month for this, so
But it
it should
doesn't.
be working. But at other times it does
Yeah.
work well, but sometimes it don't. So I guess it just
It depends
is
which
up in the air,
places
so
as
to speak.
well. If you are in some forest, then there's no good signal there. Like, depends on which place you are.
What's really
Well,
going on
I'm
is
in a car right
really
now.
going on is Samuel, the son of man. He's probably messing with ETT's signal. That's
Oh
really
yeah,
what's
we
going
can't
on.
forget about that. I mean, hell, remember that guy?
Samuel.
Remember, he's Christ on earth. Remember, he's
Yeah.
Christ. He's ruling over us. He's ruling over us with a sword and a broomstick right now. Don't forget that.
Broomstick.
That's insane, man.
I kid you not. You guys saw, what did you guys think when you saw that
He
coon
said
pull that out?
he said the rod of iron. He's gonna rule with rod of iron.
I don't know, man. He's got the props. It's believable. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what to say. Like,
And what kind of there was a big sword. I saw that video. Yeah. It was a
Yeah, the guy literally pulled out a damn
sword.
sword and a broomstick
Yeah.
and said,
jeez.
see, this proves that I'm ruling over all the people right now. And I
And
mean, this guy
also,
got to be living. Hold on real quick. This guy got to be living off government check because he's literally on there streaming 24/7 a day
Yeah,
for
exactly.
most of the time.
Yeah,
on all
exactly.
days. This guy got to. So he's Christ, but yet he's sitting there living off government payments. You know what I'm saying? Ridiculous.
Give unto Caesar what's Caesar's.
yeah, because I think he has a disability pension, maybe.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on YouTube are like that. And that's not, I'm not trying to be rude. Some people are genuine, but it's, I think a lot of YouTube is like, well, I mean, I'm bored too. I admit it all the time. That's why I'm on it. So it's
Me
not,
too.
yeah,
Me too.
I'm not blaming people or whatever, but yeah, man. But I don't remember what we were talking about. But yes, ET10, I literally believe that America is going to be burned to a pulp. Yes, and we want that to happen. Yeah,
but you live there.
So. Yeah, we're not going to be here for that. So,
you gonna move to Europe or what?
No, I'm saying that none of God's right hand side is on the earth when that happens. Not one soul, and so it's not gonna happen immediately. But yeah, anybody who's burned in that fire, I teach that body and soul is destroyed. It's God's left hand side.
But I wanted to ask one question. So, what do you guys think of or believe about the new heaven and the new earth and the New Jerusalem? This kind of at the end of the Revelation, it talks about. What do you think? Where it's going to be? What do you think?
I'll let ETT take that first.
Before I answer that, am I clear? Is the audio clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. As far as that, I would say that that it would be built in Jerusalem, right? In the Jerusalem where Christ was, crucified. The new kingdom is going to be built there on top of the old. That's how I view it, but that could be wrong. Maybe it will be built somewhere that we don't know, right? I don't think anybody could truly, know that for a certainty. But if you ask me, I'd say that it most certainly is likely to be built over the old Jerusalem because the Lord gave that land unto his people, right? So it would make sense that the Lord's going to rule from the land where he gave his people, right? And it speaks about the Lord bringing the Israelites back into their promised land, the land where they were promised, right? So I would use that to say, will bring their glory and their riches into it. So I would use that to say that there are going to be other nations ruling on earth, but they're going to be under the dominion of the higher power, right? Say for an example, in America, you have like little nations, right? I shouldn't call them little nations. You have cities and whatnot, but they're all under the dominion of the top, rulers of America, right? Even though they have their own little, towns and whatever, right? So that's how we got to view the kingdom of heaven, which that's a whole nother stream in and of itself, because there's a lot we could go into on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my standpoint on that. I'll throw it over to Mind of God then.
I'll just read the verses so the audience understands what we're talking about. Revelation 21, 1-3. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. I believe this is symbolic, but I could be wrong. Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. That's amazing to think about. Verse 4, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So we're anxious for those days, but America has to be burned first. And people, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at ETT, man. That's what the Bible says. That's not what I say. How can America exist when that's happening? America is the architect of all the evil. So America has to be burned before that can happen. And if America isn't burned, that will never happen. So you just
the scriptures tell you, the scriptures say, and I believe it's the book of Ezra that said, how can the thing that's sown of good come if the thing that's sown of evil does not first have its time to rule, right? So the Lord is allowing these nations to have dominion over the earth right now, but there's going to come a time where that's going to be taken from them, right? So we're in the time right now of evil things, right, of misfortunes that are on the earth, but there's going to be a time where the roles are going to reverse, and there will be a time of good things upon the earth. I'll throw back to Mind of God.
That's a good one, man. I gotta find that one. Yeah, I'll read that. Second Ezra 4:29. Remember, you add those together, that's 33. This represents a new rulership. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. So we should be anxious and excited for the very land that we stand on, me and ETT in America, to be burned to oblivion. I don't care. I don't want to be here and serve these morons who are paying us with our own money, screwing up our internet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like, this whole place is stupid, man. This whole place is dumb. They're paying us with our own money. That's dumb. That's crazy, man. To do nothing. No, I don't want this place to continue. That's a great verse, though. I don't remember that.
Yeah. LOP, what's your take on the matter?
But the, like, not just USA, but I mean the whole world is wicked. So like, why only USA has to be burned and not
No,
the
they all
other?
will. Let me get it. Don't worry. They're all going to me. Zephaniah, don't worry. Zephaniah 1:18. That is the ambition. That America is the only one that's just going to be burned by the other nations, but this entire earth is going to be burned. Zephaniah 1:18. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But listen, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So this entire earth is going to be just annihilated.
And the land in this instance refers to the whole earth.
This is in the last days. It's prophetic.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
I got a good one. Here's a good one for LOP. Mind of God, can you get Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5? And then when you're getting that, another good one is, what is that? Revelation, the 16th chapter, saying, well, when the last plagues happened, it says what? That the cities of the nations fell. And then it goes into Babylon being taken down. So it shows you what? That all nations are going to be brought under the dominion of Christ. It's not just America. America's going to get the worst because it's Babylon the Great. But all nations are going to receive judgment at the hands of the Lord, right? So that's why it says in Revelation, the 16th chapter, that then cities of the nations, they fell as well as Babylon, right? So that's a good one. But we're going to get Isaiah 9 and 5. It's going to show us what? That when Christ rules, all dominion is going to be brought under his feet. I'll throw back to Mind of God.
Yeah, Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and the garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And I'll get another verse to support that. Isaiah 10:19. What's that?
Oh, could you read the ones underneath it as well? It goes a little bit into it, Christ ruling as well.
Yeah, let's see this. Isaiah 9. I'll read it 5. I kind of stumbled a bit. I'll read 5 again. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. I want people to understand that's real fire. Okay, don't trust these stupid Christians. Okay, these dum-dums. Verse 6, for unto us a child is born, and us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Verse 7, and of increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. That's what we want. You'd have to be out of your mind to not want that. You know, not LOP. We all want this. I'll read one more verse and I'll pass it. I'll read one verse and I'll pass it to you. Isaiah 10:19. And the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them down. God's going to burn the entire earth, and a child could count down how many trees that are left. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that in 2 Peter is also an interesting verse. I can read it for you. 2 Peter 3:10, and it's but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Now, it says that even the heavens shall burn or shall pass away. So this is not just the earth.
Do you want me to explain that? Just so people understand. When those missiles are shot to burn America, they're going to leave heat, right? Because they're like this propulsion. The air is going to be on fire. Like that. Just I want people to know this is what we teach and we understand now. I would say a lot of it care of the Hebrews. These UFOs also, they shoot out fire. So that
one thing I do want to chime in though and say is when it says the earth shall be burned up, that doesn't mean like literally the entire earth is going to explode, right? It doesn't mean the entire earth is going to be destroyed. It means certain parts of the world where people are dwelling are going to be burned. Like for an example, there's forests where nobody lives. The Lord's not going to destroy those. In fact, it says I believe it's the book of Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter says, what was the Lord's anger against the rivers? What's the Lord's anger against the sea? Right. So the Lord doesn't have anger towards those things, the little creatures living in there. Those aren't going to get all, destroyed, the creatures living in the forest. It's just really referring to where man is dwelling. Right? It's great.
Yeah.
Brother, hold on. Let me just real quick. Because if you go to the book of Ecclesiastes, it says what? That the earth endures forever. Right. So Christ is going to rule on this earth. But as far as the heavens being rolled together as a scroll and being burned, that's talking about above Babylon and above these other nations that are being taken down in that manner, right? But it's not saying that the entire earth is going to, explode and just, go everywhere, and everyone's
I agree with that.
It's not talking about that.
Yeah, that sounds more plausible than just exploding.
It's symbolic. It's symbolic, but it's a lot of fire, and it's not like in the spirit realm fire like Christians teach. It's not that. It's not a soul burning in the heavens or something like that, like Good Servant teaches. Okay, shout out Good Servant, man.
LOP, you agree with that, or you have any questions?
No, actually, that sounds reasonable. From what we know, like also Christ said the other thing that heaven and earth shall pass away, but it would conflict with the Ecclesiastes. We said the earth endures forever, so that way it's just gonna be destroyed, but kind of like then he will rebuild it, I guess.
Well, that's a good question. Sorry to talk over you, man, but that's a very good point that you brought up. What about when it says that the earth will pass away and the heavens and all of that? That's a good point. But here's the answer to that: is it's talking about a dominion of an empire, right? A dominion of time. And I'll give an example. What is that? 2 Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right. So we're coming to the end of an age, but there's going to be a new age that's brought in, right? So that's what it means by the end of the world, right? It's not that the world is literally going to be destroyed, but it's that we're coming into a new era. Say, for an example, when the Roman Empire ruled, right, that was a world of its own, an era, but then it was taken down. And now we're in a new era, right? A new time on the earth, right? So that's just what it's referring to when it says that the heavens shall pass away, the earth shall pass away. It's not literal, just a period of time of dominion of a nation upon the earth. I'll throw it over to Mind of God.
I'll just read a verse for people to understand too, that it's I want people to understand the Bible is symbolic and there's aspects of it's literal. And so it's not like what ETT was saying. It's not the every single land mass or whatever is gonna, get burned. That's, but we have to understand it's a lot of destruction, and Revelation 11:18 supports that. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath has come in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou should give us reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great. Listen to this. And should destroy them which destroy the earth. The biggest issue God has is with the leadership on the earth, those who are destroying the earth. So that's who he's targeting. He doesn't have issues with the trees or the fish or anything like that. Some of them are going to get destroyed as a byproduct for sure, but that's his issue. And that's what he's saying with what ETT's talking about. God hates the leadership on the earth. Why? Because Job 9:24 says the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. They're not neutral. They're wicked. They're actually against God, and they're actually going to fight against God. We could even discuss that in 2nd Ezra. So this earth.
But let's not forget, though. Let's not forget, according to, some of these Israelite camps out there, remember, those are God's ministers, though. So we have to obey their rules that they tell us, because those are God's ministers, right?
Oh, you're talking about the Coons, ETT? Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah. Which actually, Sakari actually don't teach that, surprisingly enough. It's GMS and these other guys that say, obey the government because that's God's minister. So I asked him a question and said, okay, well, what if the government says you have to enact in bestiality? Are you going to do it? If not,
Right.
Well, wait a second. That's hypocrisy, though, because that's God's minister. And you see, if you bring that up to them, it's like, I don't know that one. So those guys are just, tap dancing around the scriptures like the bottom half of Betty Rips It, is all those guys. I'll throw it back to you.
You know what I would call them, but yeah, I mean I just don't understand, man. They brought out so much truth. I don't understand why they would go sideways this late in the game. I mean, we know, but yeah, it's weird, man.
LOP, what's your thoughts on Romans 13?
Romans 13. Hey, let me look it up real quick. Romans 13. Oh, actually, yeah, we talked about it in the comments. Remember, I said, that I agree with you. It's not the government is not God's minister. That's nonsense, because the government is like the evil for the most. Like all the governments since the dawn of time were evil, I would say.
Exactly.
So it cannot be God's minister. Like it says, yeah, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of God, the powers of God, powers that are ordained of God. And whosoever resisteth the power or the not of God, and they shall resist, shall receive damnation. But I don't see the word the government in there,
Well, they take
But I feel like some people, I've heard this argument before, that this is talking about like the government, but that makes no sense. Like, I mean, like the justice system or whatever. Like, if you're commit a crime, then you go to prison, or you're executed. In some countries, there's a death penalty or whatever. But it's not, like, you know what I mean? Like the law.
Yeah, let me give an example. I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly. I'll even give an example. The scriptures say what? That if a man kills a man willingly, like you deliberately plan out a murder and go through with it, according to the scriptures, that's a sin unto death, to deliberately plan out a murder. But guess what? Here, and what they'll do is they'll throw you in a prison cell for 25 years and then let you go out, free and roam. That's clearly going off. The scriptures say if a man intending to kill another man and goes through with the act, well, he's supposed to be killed for that. You give life for life. Now, there's also, it should be mentioned, if you accidentally kill somebody, right? If your accident happens, such as, say if you're moving a piano and it accidentally falls on somebody, you wouldn't be held accountable for that, because that would be an accident. But as far as premeditated murder, right, you would be put to death for that. But here they just put you in a prison cell. So that shows you that's impure violation.
But it depends what kind of some U.S. states have death penalty for murder, don't they? Or did they cancel it in all states?
A few of them, but not all of them. It
Yeah,
depends
yeah,
on
yeah.
each case.
Yeah, but you're right that it's the majority. You know, like I know in my country, you know, we don't have death penalty. So even for murder, so that is in violation of the law of Moses. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But those are God's ministers.
In
Right.
Canada, he's right. In Canada, you only get 25 years. That's the most. Like, is Canada soft, man? Like
For
super
murder?
soft. Yeah. It's
Wow,
like,
wow.
yeah.
That's what about for double homicide, like for double murder?
I don't know. I'm assuming like it's just the whole thing is ridiculous. And what we know now, and this targets Israelites too, is that the whole prison system's a business. So they'd rather ignore God's laws and make a business. That's what it is. The
You
whole
know what?
prison system.
You know what is really ridiculous? Like there's some guy, like some serial killer, and they don't get death penalty, but they get like 60 consecutive life sentences. What the hell does that even mean? That means like he will be in prison for 900 years, but like he's gonna live only for the next 50 or whatever. So it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's a business. It's a business.
Yeah,
another thing, another topic that needs to be discussed is government in itself is a flawed idea, because the word government means mind control, right? The word govern means to have control over, but the word meant means mind, right? So the word government means to have control over one's mind, right? Or just like that guy, what is that guy? The D. McClung, as he would say, don't let the mind benders bend your mind, right? That's exactly what they're doing out here, right? There's no such thing as government to begin with, right? That's a fabrication that humanity just came up with, you know.
Have you read the book by Larkin Rose, The Most Dangerous Superstition?
3 times, actually.
The government's a joke, man. Like anybody who thinks that the government's worldwide or like even like they're not even normal, man. Like this place gotta go, man. A whole thing gotta go.
I
God, did you actually look into that book yet?
No, but I have a feeling I know what his thesis is.
As I said, man, you know, check him out on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. Just look up Larkin Rose on YouTube. Go ahead and give him a listen. Very good.
I don't know. What do we? Not to be arrogant, but like, what do we not know at this point? Everything's so obvious, you know. I mean, I'm saying this as a gift, you know. So many things are obvious. Mystery Babylon, it's not a mystery. You could spend 5 minutes and read Revelation 17 and 18. I think that like a 15-year-old adult, according to ETT, would be able to figure it out, man. I mean, come on, dude. I'm saying this is a blessing because, like, man, there's a lot of people, a lot of simps walking around in America who don't have a clue that God hates this place. So we must be the lucky ones because it's obvious for us, man. And I hate this place.
The tide tips in our favor.
Yeah, I mean, this is obvious. So, I mean, yeah, man, who would not want I would. There's a lot of atheists who would run this place better than Biden and all these other ding dongs. Come on.
Yeah, you know, the way I would look at it, I'm planning on doing a stream about this soon. I'm going to call it the living among the dead, right? We're the ones who are living among the dead. And what is that? That's Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, right? So we're the ones who are actually alive.
Right.
You know, why these people, there's like damn zombies walking around. It's like these guys believe that they're on a ball, you know, spinning 1,000 miles an hour. You ask them, well, where's the proof of that? They don't know. They just know, well, everybody knows that. It's like, okay, well, how could you prove to me that's true? Nobody knows that. It's just, well, we just repeat that because that's what we were all taught in school. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, and not just that, they get mad at us for questioning it. You know, that's one thing if they didn't know, they get mad at us. You know, for like, hey, maybe that's not true. Stupid.
Just like our friend Nephilim Free, you know, it's like, oh, well, that topic's like so detestable to even believe that. So I asked him, okay, well, can we at least have a civil discussion on it? And he's like, oh, well, I can't even talk about that. Or I'll come on the show, but if you bring that topic up, I'll leave the show without even saying anything. If you bring that up, it's like, well, why can't we even discuss it if it's so absurd? And if it's so crazy, well, why are we convinced of it then if there's no evidence to support the authenticity of it? And you ask those guys, it's like, well, they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, if the earth moves, I mean, I'd be in the world. I'd be in the quote unquote world. I'd chase money. I'd chase women. Because what else is there to do? Because the Bible's not true. So I mean, I don't know, that's ridiculous. The God of the Bible said that the earth that he made does not move. So he did he forget? Oh, whoops. I'll spin it now. Okay, I'll let it start spinning so NASA can record it. Are you kidding me? That's insane.
And it's funny because when you deal with these guys out there who subscribe to the Ball Earth doctrine, you bring up what is that, Joshua 10 and 12, dealing with the sun moving back.
Yeah.
And they'll just say, well, it was actually the moon that moved. Or they'll say something along the lines of, well, to those people, it appeared as if that happened. So that's why they wrote it down that way.
Wow.
And you ask them, well, how did you know that? How did you come to that conclusion? And they don't know. They just said, well, but that's what it is. It's like, okay, well, why is it that way? Nobody knows that because nobody actually asked logical questions, right? You got to question what you've been told. And it's funny because these guys out here, they'll say that on certain topics, but then there's other topics when they come up, they'll be like, oh, well, that can't be true.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait, you said to question what you've been told, so it shows the hypocrisy of the actual, modern person, right? Because we all been deceived.
Yeah.
Every one of us was brought up in this man-fool system, as Elder Dahar says, which, of course, much respect to the Elder Apostle Dahar. Hey, we hope to be on a chariot with that brother. But anyway, LOP, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I also wanted to point out in Psalm 19, actually, there is a good kind of a verse about the sun, and if I can read for one verse or two verses here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's what is that?
You know what I
Psalms
mean.
19 and 1?
Yeah, Psalms 19. Well, 19:1, but I wanted to read verse 4 because it says the line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. And in them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. So it suggests that the sun is what is moving around and not the earth. So that's another thing here in the
that's a great one. That's
actually suggests more that the sun is what is moving, because it refers to as a it's like a strong man to run a race. So it refers to the sun in this way. So because, so that's interesting also.
The earth moving at this point is ridiculous. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. So I can't tell you exactly what's going on with the earth, but no, I'm sorry.
Hey, I might there's a book I was listening to, and sorry to cut you off, man, but I just wanted to put this out there. There's a book I listened to, the audio book. It's called I believe it's by Eric Dubay, I could be mistaken, but it's called 200 Proofs that the world's not a globe or something like that. I just looked that up on YouTube and listened to the audio book. It's only an hour long. But yeah, man, there's so many proofs. Like, I'll give an example from the book. It brings up the railroads, right? And I have railroads, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right, down the road from my house here, right? Now, when they construct those rails, right, they don't take into account a curve, right? They don't take into account the curvature of the world, right? They just make the rails straight. It's like, okay, then, so if they're being put down for miles and miles and miles on end, and there's no curvature being made into the steel when it's formed, well, wait a second, isn't that proof that the world isn't curving then? Because how could the steel, how could it curve along with the earth if they didn't incorporate that into when they were manufacturing the steel? You know what I'm saying? So that's a great proof that the world is truly flat, because it's impossible for the rails to curve along with the world if that's not accounted for when they construct them.
Yeah. I've asked my friend who works as a designer for tools, drilling. And I asked him, because they drill laterally now, which is like sideways to get more and more oil and gas. And I asked him, do you ever account for the curve of the earth? And he said no. So, and I've worked in seismic as well, like in my corporate life in engineering. We never accounted for the curve of the earth, and now we have pilots coming forward saying that it is flat.
But hey, I just want to say, I used to go to school for like surveying, so we learned about map making, and we had these like theodolites and stuff, and we actually had to account for the curvature of the earth. and that was my high school. Actually, I didn't finish that school, but I do remember that there was we had to account for the curvature when we were doing some kind of you know, map of the terrain and stuff. When it was longer than, let's say, what was it? I think longer than 1 mile, then we had to account for the curvature actually in the map making. So that, but again, I haven't finished that school, and I just remember that though. Like, but
No,
anyway,
what just so you know, what that is when you're doing that, when you're looking through an optical device, is you're correcting for the limitations in the optics. It's not the curve that you're adjusting. If you're using like a target point, let's say in the distance, right? There's some resolution of whatever optical device that you're looking for, and then it can potentially like appear to shrink or something like that. Let's say you're using it as a target point. And so it's that. It's not the fact that it's curving and all that kind of stuff. Just know that, you know, that's what happens. We know that there are very, very legitimate things that happens, and across a flat plane, when you move a target point in the distance, it will appear to go down, you know. It'll
Oh,
appear
real
to shrink
quick,
in size.
just to throw something out there for you guys. Our friend Fresh and New commented and said, missile scientists assume the Earth is flat when making their calculations, and I got to throw something in there as well because what was that guy? Not Eric Dubay. Damn, I can't think of it. Eddie Bravo. He always brings up, well, there's certain military crafts, right, who they can target an enemy ship that's 100 miles away, right? So they're not accounting for curvature, right? They can pinpoint them 100 miles away and hit them from that far, right? So that shows you that the world is flat then, right? Because they're not even taking into account over 100 miles. They're not
Yeah,
taking into
exactly.
account any curvature for the world there, right? So that's also a good, proof to put out there. So anyway, I'll throw it back to mine. I got that.
Well, I mean, if the Earth moves, you just put your plane in the sky, and then the Earth moves beneath, and then you just land it. Like that's what it is. Like there's that's what they believe, and so that's obviously not true. And so
and it's weird that yeah, they would have to like the planes, you know, they constantly going are tilted a bit up. So if the Earth was curved downward, like then why would the planes fly with slightly tilted up? So that
yeah.
would not make no sense
I
on the
asked one of my
ball
friends.
Earth, right?
I asked one of
I
my
don't know.
friends who's an actual pilot and teaches, flying in like the military, and so he said, and I have a quote, and I read my interaction on my YouTube channel, is that he said, "I'm still not convinced." So he didn't even have a proof. Like he's like actually took it seriously. Like he couldn't prove to me that we lived on a ball, and this person teaches other people to fly, and so that just
Oh.
shows that, I mean, it is, and they don't want to talk about it, certain people, and
Yeah,
so
and think about how crazy that is, man. It's the year 2021, and we don't even know what the hell we even live on. And
right,
that's a crazy thought to even have. But
Yeah.
hey, the evidence is there. We really don't even know what we're even living on. As far as, say, for an example, you can't go to Antarctica, and somebody will bring up, well, I took a trip to Antarctica. You can take a trip there and stay at a hotel there. So see,
yeah,
you guys are wrong. It's like, well, wait, you can go to Antarctica, but you can't pass certain barrier points there, right? And
Well,
why is that? Because if you go too far,
yeah.
they're worried about people finding, I believe, the firmament, is being hidden,
yeah,
down
exactly,
in that
But
area. You
but
can
this
look
is
into,
interesting.
go ahead.
Sorry. This is interesting because my therapist, he's actually had a friend who has. He said that his friend actually crossed the whole Antarctica. Like, and I was like, wow, I find it hard to believe because that would kind of disprove the whole Antarctica being the firmament, or you know what I mean? If he indeed across the South Pole to the other side, right? But then so is his friend lying or something? Yeah, I don't know. Like,
we definitely do not live on a ball spinning flying through space. That's ridiculous. Like, I don't even know what to say, man. That's ridiculous, dude.
that is, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god, how the hell
It,
is this ball like just flying through space, and like where did it
it,
begin and end or whatever? That's crazy.
But it's strange that with the Antarctica, it's really that nobody really has access there unless you are really rich or parts of some government research. You
Yeah.
can't go there, right? You can't. You can't. You know.
You can't even go on government related things here in America, much less, over
Right.
there. Yeah, it's
Right.
like you can't even go on the freaking. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So of course we can't go over there. So.
Hey, I have a new question, just to speak about this for a little bit, but LOP, how would you refute the doctrine of evolution if you were given the chance? What evidence would you use to refute that belief?
Evolution.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure, but the thing is, I've talked to many atheists, and I just want like to disprove there being no creator. That's easy thing to me, but they still want to like they can't right like when I say like okay, so they believe in the Big Bang, right? But like so then who created that the whole reality like that was nothing like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense if nobody created it, so just like they have no answer. They cannot say like, well, now there was nothing and then there was everything, like because of the big like there's no that's a nonsense. I don't know. Like they and it has a design, so like some kind of design, even if it's flawed and all that stuff, but it has some kind of design. This reality.
Right.
So that's a proof
You know,
for me. For me, that is a proof that there is a creator, or was anyway.
Yeah,
right. Now,
that's
I'll
fair
say
enough.
this real quick. I'll let Mind of God jump in as well. But before I do that, I just want to say that even if, one doesn't, subscribe to, the scriptures, right, the Bible, which we subscribe to, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it's very clear that humanity and the earth that we live on was clearly designed by a higher form of intelligence, whether that be, some alien master lords or, a god or
Yeah.
gods, that's up for debate. But to pretend that this isn't, you know, intentionally designed, that's just an illogical fallacy. There's no way that one could say, for an example, I'm looking at a building across the street from me. If I was to tell you that just magically appeared over the course of a million years, that would be laughable. But yet the same person who would believe that, they'll sit there and tell you that your body, right, if all its moving parts and its reproductive ability, that just somehow happened. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
exactly.
ridiculous.
So that's easy way to debunk atheism, really. And most of the atheists are not even they are like agnostic. They just don't know, probably. Uh, I have never met anyone who's like 100% sure that there is no God or creator, right? They still have some, even the most like Richard Dawkins, even he admits that there's a chance that this or that designed this or whatever. But
We're gonna get the answer soon. It's not funny, but like it's amazing, man. Psalms
but
14, Psalms 14:1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. The fool. So
yeah, just I
Yeah,
just
and what is that?
um
Real quick, Romans the first chapter says what? That the invisible things of the Most High are clearly seen, right? So we can see that the earth was clearly designed by a higher form of intelligence, even though the intelligence is not down here with us. You know, we can clearly see by the invisible things, right? The things that we see, we can tell, oh yeah, well that had to be created. And also another, thing as well with this whole UFOs, though government's coming out now saying, hey, we don't know what the hell these things are, but they
right.
have to admit that they do exist, right? Which we know what they are. Those are, the chariots of the Most High, right? But they're tricking everyone to think those are little green men, coming to, take our world. So we all got to fight back, right? So that's why the scripture said what? That if it were possible, they would have even deceived the very elect. I'll throw it back to mine.
Yeah, here's a good one, ETT, in line with what you said with was it Romans that you were quoting? Sorry, where the invisible things.
Romans, the first chapter.
Yeah, Second Ezra 9:6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, it's obvious everything has a beginning, right? In wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And so everything at the beginning comes from the highest, the most high. It's amazing.
But I just want to say that, like, after the fall of man, then everything was corrupted. Like, there came insects that were poisonous, snakes and stuff. Like, before, it wasn't intended to be like that. So therefore, we're living in a cursed world. That even in Genesis you see that, right? He cursed the land. Basically, there will be thorns growing. Before that, that was not the case. It was the original thing, right?
They were intended for that, just so you know. Like, I know that that's tough to understand, but yeah, God did intend to create vessels for evil and vessels for good. That's been the plan.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that my issue sometimes is that, why do these things exist if God is all good? Then why did He create so many bad things too? That was one of my problems when I'm really suffering and I'm just angry. But
Well, the Most High is an even balance, right? The Lord is good, but he's also evil, right? The Lord does good, but he also does evil, right? The Lord loves, but he also hates, just like we ourselves, right? We love, but we also hate, right? We
yes,
have emotions of good and emotions of bad, right? So, we're the same way as the Most High, right? The scriptures say what? The Lord made man in his image. And you got those guys on there talking about, well, God isn't a man, right? God is like a ghost or something. He's not an actual
Right.
man. And to cut that real quick, if anybody who's listening believes that, what is that? Exodus 15:3, for the Lord is a man of war, right? Just to cut that nonsense just off the start. But that's how I would view it. Mind of God, you want to add anything in?
Yeah, here's a good one, and I want people to understand this doesn't mean that we know everything about God, but we're just reading what the Bible says. So don't shoot us, kind of thing. I'm not talking to LOP, but just for people who listen to this. Romans 9:22. What if God, willing to show His wrath and to make His power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction? So God is essentially displaying His power to us. We know it now without seeing His wrath. We don't want to see His wrath, but there's certain people that are going to have to see it. And so all of this ultimately is for God to display His power, the
but
God of the Israelites.
I wanted to only mention one verse, because you said that the Lord is a man of war, and I know that. But there's one verse in Numbers 23, verse 19. It says, God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and he shall not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? So in this particular verse, it says, God is not a man that he should lie. I mean, just like, God is not a man, it says here. So, but
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me address that. It says the Lord is not a man that he should lie. It's not saying he isn't an actual man. It says he's not a man that will lie. Mind of God, you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah, no, ETT is correct. He's saying, he's contrasting a man that lies. He's a man, quote unquote, man that tells the truth. Obviously, we know that Christ being a man and God is different than we're a man, but he came in the flesh. He came in the flesh as a man. But yeah, what ETT is saying is correct. He's contrasting that as men would lie. God's not a man that would lie, neither the Son of Man
Right,
that he
so-
should repent. Exactly.
Right. So it's not saying that the Lord's not a man. That's taking it out of context. If you read it, right, it said the Lord is a man that he shall not lie. Right, or
Exactly,
something
yeah.
like that. You
No, you're
can
right.
read it again,
Exactly.
but you can clearly see
Yeah. So,
LOP. Go
but
ahead.
that doesn't mean that. I mean, yeah, I get that God or the Lord doesn't lie, but he did send, like, you have some examples. He sent lying spirits into the, some of the verses. I'm sure you know, right?
Yeah,
He
but
sent
LOP,
lying spirits, and
just so you understand, that's not a lie. If I tell you I'm going to deceive you, am I lying? No, God's telling us the truth. God is behind the deceptions, according to Job 12:16. So I want people to understand. But just know the context of this verse, Numbers 23:19, God's saying that when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Just like he said he's going to deceive. And so he's going to do it. and we
Oh,
see that. We see
I
that
get your
everywhere.
point now. I get your
Yeah,
point now.
that's
Yeah.
so. He's the heavenly Father. He's allowed to create evil and lying spirits. And the nice thing is, for us who are awake, he tells us that he's doing it, so we give him credit. Other people on YouTube don't give the Most High credit, so they're going to have to see it to believe it. He's going to show them.
Because, like, yeah, if you're gonna give credit God for all the good things that is happening, you gotta also for the bad things, right? Because he's, he's all powerful.
Right. And for an example, this earthquake that happened in Haiti, right, that killed, like 1,200 people and injured a few thousand, a lot of people don't want to accept it, but hey, the Most High did that, right? God
100%.
let that happen.
100%.
And what is that? Amos 3:6, for if there is calamity in the city, did the Lord not do it? Right. So the Most High is in control of all things, and that's just, it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I said exactly. He is in control of all. So that means even the calamities, as it is proven in Amos chapter 6, was it? Yeah.
Here's
And
another
also,
good verse. Here's another
Isaiah,
good one. 1 second.
45.
Here's another good one related to that. Revelation 4:11. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. Understand, all of this is to display God's power. For thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. So God created all things.
Exactly. Yeah. Thing. Exactly. And I was just gonna point out this is very famous verse in Isaiah 45. It says, like, I am the Lord, I create peace and I create evil as well. So he said he create evil as well. So you're 100%. Right. He create everything, even the bad things, unfortunately.
Hey, we got Awakened Pennsylvanian in the chat. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, I'm surviving. How you doing, man?
Same thing, man. Same here.
Welcome, man. Good to hear from you, dude. We're just here complaining about how awful this world is. So.
Oh my God, man! I couldn't agree with you anymore, man. That is 100% truth right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I heard you live streaming. You say this has to be the end, or it's everything else is, or the Bible's irrelevant, and I agree with you 100% on that, man. I mean, if this ain't the end and nothing happens, I mean, I don't know what else to. I mean, I can't believe the Bible. Then you know what I mean?
Exactly, 100%.
Then the Bible's it's invalid, because think of it. If this ain't the end, and there ain't going to be no God to come down and save us.
Yeah,
that's scary, man. I mean, really, just think about that. With all the crap going around, the evil going around, and there isn't going to be nothing to come and save us. I mean, at this point, we need something from out there, or something, some powerful being to help us out. I mean,
yeah,
with the way things are going, it's insane.
I would say if Christ doesn't return prior to 2023, I don't think the Bible should be taken seriously. People can have different timelines, a plus or minus a year, but it's within 5 years for sure. I mean, yeah, don't just try and make the best of your life after that. For people who hear this, like, we're in those days for sure.
Right. And real quick, I do want to say, just like somebody asked Apostle Dahar the question, well, what if the Bible's not true? And Dahar said, hey, the Bible might not be true. Maybe there is not a Most High. That could be true. And that's most certainly a possibility. We could be wrong. And hell, we all might be on here being deceived. We don't know. But that's why you got to take by faith, because the word faith means a belief in something that cannot be seen, right? So what we put our belief in and our trust, we can't physically see it, right? Because it's unseen. But I'll give an example. When I was recording a video last year, if you look behind me in the sky, there was a UFO behind me. So that's a faith booster, all right? Because, the angels are clearly, watching over us. And one way you can prove it is that's why all these UFO sightings are going on every single day around the world. And why is that? And Mighty God knows the verse. What is that? 2 Ezra 9, right? Yeah. The highest is now visiting the world, which he created, right? So, hey, we're in the high tide right now, right? The tides are tipping in our favor. Or as Mighty God says, the Bible's looking pretty good. Right, so it is, right? So we're putting our trust and our belief in this, but at the end of the day, we're going to find out, right? Yeah. We could be wrong. All of us, hey, look, health, the earth might even be a globe, and maybe we're all going off. Yeah. We don't know. Right. Okay, but hey, look, we really got to take a risk with this thing, Okay, that's what this is all about. I'll throw it over to Monica.
Revelation 1:7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. All kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. So if that doesn't happen, then guess what? God's a liar. And my ETT's right. We're all deceived. We have no hope. We have to do the best we can here on earth. I'll pass it back to anybody else.
Yeah,
Well,
man. Oh, sorry about that, man.
no worries.
Yeah, man. And it really, what really has my head spinning is I see these people having kids nowadays. Like how?
Right.
Like I see these kids coming. They're having newborn babies and stuff. Like, how are you? Why would you even bring a kid into this world right now?
Yeah.
I mean, really ever, but why? I mean, really now? I mean, bringing a kid into this world is this nuts? I mean, I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean,
I got a good verse for you, man. You'll love this one. 2 Ezra 5:8. There shall be chaos also. Somebody has a lot of feedback in the back, just so people know. 2 Ezra 5:8. There shall be chaos also in many places. Fire shall also break out, and wild animals shall roam beyond their haunts. And listen to this, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. So that's the
Monsters?
Bible. Yeah, God is prophesying that in the last days, all the spirits that are going to be brought out are going to be evil.
I have a daughter, but she's 5 years old already. So
Not LOP's daughter, every other one. So just
yeah.
But it just shows.
Like
man,
I'll give an example.
Yeah.
I'll give an example dealing with the whole, what is it, Chernobyl, I believe. The nuclear disaster. I believe that happened in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But if you do the research on that, some of those children came out, missing limbs, with 3 eyes, 5 hands, crazy stuff like that.
Right.
When it says that they bring forth monsters, it's not literally saying they're going to be a 10-foot tall baby running around. It ain't talking about that, but it's saying that some of these children are going to have demonic spirits on them, or some children might come out being deformed like this, right? This is all, stuff that's going to be happening and is happening, in the world currently. So, these guys out here, man, who are saying that we're not in these last times, man, they got to be, don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I know guys like that saying, oh, well, people have been saying that forever. The world is fine right now. Everything's fine, right? God bless America. You know what I'm saying? The guys are just crazy.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, me personally, I don't see a future in this world. You got, excuse me, you got low birth rates. You got high unemployment. The prices are out of control. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the house prices lately, but the house prices are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jobs are not paying what they used to. A lot of jobs outsourced. There's just another thing too is there's this heroin epidemic. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen videos on YouTube, but Philadelphia is like one of the worst places for the heroin. I mean, you go down to Philly, you'll literally just see, it looks like the people are zombies, especially down by Kensington, dude. It's bad. I mean, the whole city of Philly it's so bad in Philly. Like when you go down there, like when I go down there for work, I'm constantly told by people to lock your doors because junkies will just go in there and steal your stuff. Because I mean, the heroin's very bad. I mean, it is throughout the whole U.S., but it's Philly's like one of the epicenters for it. Yeah, it's bad.
But AP, dude, I was just talking to somebody recently who said Seattle downtown is like that. Like a place, Amazon, we think of every, rich, wealthy company and all that. Downtown Seattle is just freaking like just drugs everywhere, dude. Like people are leaving and going to the suburbs. So, it's one of the, like ETT quotes that verse a lot. The mirth of the land is gone,
Well,
real quick, I gotta mention, I mean, hell, man, it's very clear, that we're in what they would call the second Great Depression, right? You had the Great Depression of the 1930s, but it's clear that we're in that time now because you got there's one investor out there. I read his books. His name is Robert Kiyosaki, I believe it is. Which everyone should look him up. But he would basically says hey, look, we're coming into the greatest financial disaster in human history, and it's true. This place is unbelievable. I was at the store the other day, man. I actually went to a different store. Usually I only shop at my own personal adult playground, the Dollar Tree. Inside joke. But
Did you get that from
anyway,
Did you get that from that?
from the
Sorry,
Wolf
man.
Pit.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, you watch the Wolf Pit, don't you?
Oh, you know who that is?
Yeah, I do, man. I know who the Wolf Pit is. I was like to say that.
Man, I like that guy.
Yeah, I do too. I like his channel. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, instead of shopping at my own personal adult playground, a Dollar Tree, I was at I believe the store was Weiss's or something, and in front of me there was a woman and her child there who they were just getting maybe 5 or 6 items at the store, like some milk, a bag of candy, some meat, and another item. And I kid you not, the bill came literally to about $62 for those 5 or 6 items that they
Jeez.
purchased. I was like, I had to take a triple look at that. I was like, I mean, damn, 60 some dollars. I mean, that's a year's worth of wages for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it's like, damn, it just shows you, man. Hey, look, the poor bastard like I myself, man, the only store I can survive off of is the dollar store. I've been doing that since I was born, and I'll do that till the day I die. That's just the way that I live. You know what I'm saying? But it just shows you, man, that this place is just getting to be too much, man. I mean,
But
this is
here,
this has to
here in Europe, we have this one supermarket. It's originally Germany, but it's all over Europe. But this supermarket is so cheap. Like you can take 30 items, and the price will be only like 30 euros or even less. So this is something like I would compare it to the dollar store in America. And we have Lidl. That's the cheapest supermarket in all Europe by far.
Did
and
you just-
it's a German one.
Did you
What?
say it was a Lidl?
Yeah, Lidl, Lidl, and it's a German supermarket.
Yeah.
It's even in the UK. It's in France, in my country,
Yeah, they're building.
and
they just-
everywhere, but not in
they-
USA. As far as I know.
Oh yeah, there
Oh,
is
actually, no, hold on.
There is.
There
There
is
is. They're
one
building
here.
2 stores in my area.
Wait,
I
really?
know one. I shop at one of those, the Lidl store. They have those here. Or however
Yeah,
Really?
they do.
you
So
pronounce it.
is it really? Is it spelled Lidl?
Yeah, and it has
Lidl?
like a blue square on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because so far I've heard from many people, and they said no, we don't have Lidl in USA, but
Well-
apparently you do now. All right.
Yeah, they're
There's
just,
one here in Easton, Pennsylvania.
Okay. So is it cheap there as well as here? Because here,
I would
especially in
say
Germany,
it's
it's very
relatively.
cheap.
Yeah. I mean, when I go there, man, I can get a damn Red Bull for under $2 there. So I mean, damn, that's a good price, man. I mean,
You-
$2. Hey, look, that's my weekly expense. For a week, is I can enjoy something that's like $2. You know what I'm saying? That's the level of poverty I'm at. But hey, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Inside joke.
well, the
Yeah,
Lidl.
many things it's very cheap there in Lidl. Really, like you can get Coke. 1 liter of Coke for $1. That's pretty cheap, right? 1 liter.
Check this out, guys. I saw on Instagram or something recently, like Michael Jordan, I think his rookie card was worth $850,000. Are you like a piece of paper in Babylon is worth $850,000? Like, how can anybody not think that this system is on the verge of collapsing? Like, that's ridiculous, dude. Like, you could live off your whole life with that much money. So, I mean, this is bound to. We don't.
I
know
mean,
when.
hell, let me say this.
Yeah.
If I had $800,000, I would be set for the next 10,000 reincarnations by the way that I live.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not even being sarcastic.
I mean, that's crazy. That's an absurd amount of money to associate a piece of paper with a picture on it. And so we can't tell you the day that it's going to collapse. No one can, ultimately God. But, I mean, this just financially, this thing's going to collapse, much less the Corolla. People know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, dude, this place is done. Can I quote a verse? I'll just quote a verse really quick. Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, listen to this, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened.
Oh, but remember, though, that already happened in 70 AD.
Well, it's going to happen again. Shout out William Bell. Dude, come on, man. This whole system, the only real money should be backed by food. Not gold even. ultimately money should be backed by food or agriculture. I mean, what the hell is money backed by right now? I don't even know. Like, Kylie Jenner is a billionaire. Kim Kardashian's a billionaire because she's basically a porn star. I mean, come on, man. Like, okay, we're not jealous of them because they have money. Okay, whatever. Certain people have money, but how you get the money, we're allowed to be angry about, man. That's not right.
But
And
hey,
then now they want
in
to
trouble
jab
like
us.
we are.
Yeah, they want to jab us with this thing now. No, stop. So.
And those people that have like over 50 billion, well, imagine that. It's like crazy.
Exactly.
What? What? Like, what are you gonna?
You can never spend that, even if you wanted to, for like ET said, 10,000.
Hey, I would buy the whole country with that. I guess, you know.
I mean,
Crazy.
you could try to spend it, and you can't in your life.
No,
you could not.
Yeah. It looks like we lost Awaken in Pennsylvania. Hey, man, there's a link in the chat for you. If you're still on with us, go ahead and hit that. Oh, let me see. I think we got him. All right. Yeah, I'm going to bring him back on. All right. Can you hear us, man?
Yeah, man. I accidentally clicked out.
Yeah, that's all right. I wanted to mention real quick. I was watching, some documentaries about, the Great Depression, and basically what happened in Germany, right? They had their currency, which I won't use the word on here. But I already can see that guy saying, "Oh, MOB will see the German money proves that it is because it's the name of the money is literally that." And you can look that up to know what I'm making fun of. But anyway, their currency, right? They at one point in time they had to bring literally an entire barrel full of money to the store to get a loaf of bread. And there's been stories where people, they would leave the money in the basket outside the store, and when they come out, the money would be on the floor, but somebody stole the basket because it's worth more than the 10,000 bricks of money that's sitting there.
Jeez.
So that's going to happen to the United States of America's currency. Just only a matter of time.
Yeah, they used to have in German. They used to have German mark. Now they have euros, obviously, as most of the EU states, the countries, not states. But yeah,
That's crazy, man. That's insane to think that we're, as much as I teach this and ETT and I teach this, it's insane to think that we're living in those days, man. That somebody, quote, somebody in quotes, predicted thousands of years ago. Man, that's amazing, dude. It's not funny, but like, damn. It's crazy.
Oh, and another thing as well, when you deal with, because guys are out there saying, "Oh, well, the Bible ain't true." I ask them, okay, well, what about, like, what is Babylon then? I mean, if that's not America, well, what other civilization in the last 2,000 years could fulfill such a exact resemblance, for lack of better words, to what's being described? And the answer to that question is only America. Rome doesn't fit that because they had dominion over a part of the world, but they weren't making people rich by buying and selling with them. Now somebody's going to bring up the silk trade because Romans, they would trade with, I believe it was China or Japan. They would have the Silk Road, they call it, where they would trade for the silk. But that doesn't apply because they went across land. That didn't require water to trade, right? And that's only with two countries. Whereas Larkin Rose would say the crunchies, right? So that's not a good example either, because these guys are out there saying, and I know certain guys, man, they're saying, oh, well, it's talking about Rome. It's like, okay, well, how does Rome fit that? And they say, well, the prophets were never killed in America, so see, it can't be that. You know what I'm saying? Those guys have just got to be smoking crackula at this point.
You're right about the ships, man, because that's a very unique aspect of the ports, to get products into US, and all that. It's like, why else, how else, sorry, did the Bible predict that? Like, it would require an entity at the highest level to orchestrate a place that needs that many goods as America does. It has to be us.
Right. And, it can't be Jerusalem because Jerusalem doesn't make merchandise by the sea, right? They're not selling merchandise by the sea. I mean, hell, they're, I don't know how many miles away from the sea. They're not even near the ocean.
I'll cut that one. So, check out this verse where it can't be Jerusalem as well, because think of the Middle East. There's so much bombing and tension, right? How does that fulfill this verse? Revelation 18:7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit as a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. There's so much tension in the Middle East. There's so much sorrow in the Middle East. How could that be in that region?
and has been for some long time. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
But
The only place that's been quote unquote a virgin in terms of pain and punishment is America. Does 9/11 count as that? The CGI nonsense? No, I'm sorry. Like, no, it's us, man. 100%.
So you're saying
Well, somebody
9/11 was an inside job?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I don't. It's not what they told us. I'll just say that. Just
That,
so that.
yeah.
Let me just
Yeah.
say real quick. Let me just say this real quick. We can segue onto that topic because I was actually watching a documentary on that this morning. I will say my 2 cents. I do believe that did it happen. I do believe planes were used. However, I will say there is something that is fishy though, and that is if you look up something called the Illuminati card game, which was made in 1996. There's cards in there that literally show 9/11. So that's 5 years before this event took place, and also
Right.
there's magazines where you can see in the background there was a 9 and then the 2 towers in the background. It's so many things. The TV
In
shows
so
they
many
had
TV
9/11
shows,
on
yeah,
this.
and movies, and even
Right,
music
right.
albums.
So
Yeah.
there, I
Yeah.
definitely do believe that it was orchestrated by the governments, but I do believe that planes were used to bring the towers down because you have amateur footage of just regular people recording it. So I mean, did they Photoshop those too? I mean, that we're talking about the early 2000s, so they didn't really have that type of, the public didn't really have that type of technology to edit videos like we do today. So I do believe they use planes, but we can talk about that. So mind of God, go ahead and give us your
Yeah,
your
I'm
take
fine.
on
I'm
that.
fine with that. I mean, I just yeah. I mean, it could be. It could not be. I think ultimately, like, are the people in the Middle East to blame? Like how they use that narrative. We all know that that's false. So yeah, I mean,
Right.
I don't. I wasn't there, or anything like that, and I don't think there's a reason to get too picky about the literalness of it. So yeah,
I mean, hell, I was in the spirit world. I wasn't even alive yet when that took place. I was still in the
Really?
spiritual realm.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
I was
younger.
born I was
Oh.
born I was born well, I won't put the exact year out there, but we'll say not too long after that took place.
ETT was at the right hand of the Most High, shall we say, at that time.
But that's amazing to me that you were born after 2001.
ETT's like 12 years old, man. He's on YouTube. He learned some things, and now he's famous. Is what I'm. He's Biggie. So damn, dude.
Notorious, yeah, B.I.G.
That's crazy, man. I didn't even, dude. I was in college. That's crazy to think you weren't even alive then, man. That's wild, dude.
I was.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, when
I
you
was only 10.
all were there, man. Hey, look, ETT was just chillaxing in the spiritual realm.
No,
That's-
wait. I was 12 actually. I was 12 at the time, I guess.
I remember that day vividly. Actually, like somebody interrupted my class. I was in a computer science class, and they said there has been a terrorist attack in New York, dude. You could hear a pin drop on campus. No one was talking. They were just staring.
My mother told me that a few months prior to that, she actually had dinner at the top of one of the twin towers or something like that. She
Wow.
was with someone that had a lot of money, so she actually was up there at the top of one of those a few months prior.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's crazy to to really look at the footage, man, because you can see people were jumping out of there, jumping to their deaths and whatnot. So that's truly sad. But hey, we know what hey, the Bible says that the Lord did that. God did that.
100%.
He orchestrated these
100%.
people. He orchestrated the governments to go through with that, right? Because all evil is from the Lord, all good is from the Lord. Anyway, we'll let LOP say some words on it.
I agree with you, and with I've watched also many documentaries about. But I wanted to ask you: have you seen the movie about it? Actually, I heard it sucks, but it's called like I forgot. Oliver Stone, the director, did, and it came out 2006, so just 5 years after the attack. And I was wondering if any of you guys have seen this movie about the 9/11.
I have not.
You haven't? Okay. It's called World Trade Center. I think. Yeah, it's called World Trade Center, and then Nicolas Cage is in it, and but I just saw the trailer. I haven't watched it. It is a pretty bad rating as well. So. But I've seen the real like some other documentaries about it. So this is nothing new. The way it's been predicted, like, I mean, or not predicted, like in a movie, like Back to the Future, that's one of the most common examples people will say. Or there was an album from the band Supertramp from the 1975, I think, and if you flip the cover, you can see, the 911 there as well. So it's been planned for so long, I guess.
Yeah, there was one in the
I'm not sure.
Simpsons.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they were built, these towers, but the planning was. I mean, the predicting in the movie, in the entertainment was, since 70s even. So it's crazy.
I believe the the crazy thing is the World Trade Centers weren't even that old. I think they were built in 1973.
Wait,
There.
really? Oh,
yeah, they're not that old. Yeah.
So wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I just looked it up. It was 1973.
Yep. Yeah, they're not. I thought they were a lot older than that.
And it's weird because wait, when did that Supertramp album came out? I'm just interested right now because Supertramp and it's Breakfast in America.
There was also that.
Okay, that came out 79. Okay, so it was a bit after.
There was also one on the Def Leppard album. I think it was Pyromania album.
Yeah, Pyromania. I know that about that.
Yep,
Yeah,
there was one on there.
Yes.
There's the Cookie Monster one. On this, there was like Cookie Monster taking a bite out of one of the buildings. And then, yeah, there was quite a few. There was another one.
Many things. Yeah. In Superman, there was some kind of a thing about it too.
Well, there's another. The owner of the World Trade Center. Did you ever hear of Lucky Larry Silver? I think it's Lucky Larry Silverstein, or he was he like wasn't on the day. He happened to have some he went out to lunch that day where he normally never would, but on that day he magically goes to lunch or something. His name's Lucky Larry, and he's the
okay.
Yeah, and they're saying he took an insurance policy out for that.
Wow.
For like $1 billion, like a couple years or a couple months before the World Trade Centers went down, he actually took out an insurance policy on it for $1 billion.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
so in conclusion on that matter, we can clearly see it. Hey, there's definitely something fishy that's going on behind the scenes. But hey, look, all I'm gonna say is that the world is a stage and I'm just in the audience. That's just the way I'm gonna look at it. You know what I'm saying? There's too much going on right now in the world. I mean, this place cannot last any longer. Because these people out here, I'll tell you, man, I don't know if you guys saw a video I did the other day, but I mentioned I was at the store the other day, and what happened was, we were in the aisles. I was looking at something, and there was this guy at the other end of the aisle, and this person pulled in, and they were, screaming, basically having a fit because everybody is always in the way and whatnot. So I was thinking, it's like, man, look at these people. These people are literally at their end, right? They're about ready to snap and to start going off, right? The people are on edge right now. Everybody is pissed off in a negative mood. That's why everywhere you go, everybody has negativity all over their face. Everybody has sadness all over their face. And why is that? Because this place is clearly going down, right? America, Babylon the Great, her time is clearly up, right? The time where the Lord is visiting the world is right now, right? So we know that who the world calls Jesus Christ, which his name is Yahweh Shai, is about to return to this world, and he's about to take America down out of power, right? And we're telling the people that. The apostles been out there since the 80s saying that. And guess what? We're telling the people that now, that, hey, look, the scriptures say, what is that? Isaiah 55 and verse 6, it says, seek the Lord while he might be found. Right, so we're telling the people to seek the Lord right now, because very soon you're not going to be able to find the Lord when all these calamities are going down, right? So, hey, the people better get right while you have a chance. All right. So anyway, I'll throw it back to mine of God then.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, the world's crazy right now, man. I mean, it's scary times because, people, and another thing too is people have been driving like people's driving is just getting worse. I mean, people are more aggressive too. They're more just it's crazy. Like the ways people driving, they're more angry. There's been more road rage, and it's just people have been on edge. And you know, it's like you can see the frustration through anything, like how people are at the store, how they drive. And I just think to myself, I just hope this ends. Like I just don't see a remedy for all the craziness.
I hope that the mind of God was right, and that it's all like it will be all over by 2023. You know, that would be lucky.
For what it's worth, I'm being told that we will see him this year. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, that's even better, actually. I cannot stand so many years more here. You know what I mean? Especially with all the suffering. It's terrible.
I'm pretty sure we'll see Christ return this year.
Plus I love traveling, and now I'm stuck here in my country forever. You know?
Yeah, the scriptures say in the Apocrypha that Christ will return to the astonishment of all, right? Because people ain't looking for the Son of Man to return right now. Everybody thinks, oh, the Bible, that's all a fairy tale, right? That's not real, right? Christ never existed. But it says what? That Christ, who the world calls Christ Yahushua, is going to return to the astonishment of all who dwell on the earth. And mind of God, if you know where that is, you can pull
I
that
got a
up
good
for us.
verse. Yeah, I'll read that one. Wisdom of Solomon 5:2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Not us, because we know what that is, right? And shall be amazed, listen to this, at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. It's not strange to us, but yeah.
Is that from the book of Apocrypha?
Yeah,
the wisdom of I have that in the King James. Also these books like the Wisdom of Solomon and the other ones.
Is amazing. I can't say.
Yeah, I like it.
It's amazing.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I haven't read it as much as the main part.
Yeah.
The main 66 whatever book.
That's an interesting number. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is 66 is in the Bible without the Apocrypha. You have only 66, which is interesting number. Yeah.
You know why we know it's the end? Because Christianity is through, man. 501c3 Christianity is a joke that it just keeps on joking. So it's like laughable, dude. Like, so that's, and we say this to be rude to them. They're absolutely finished. We can debunk them in 1 verse, 2 verses, 3 verses. The whole thing gets finished. So how did that happen?
I'll give a good one.
Yeah.
I'll give a good one. The scriptures say in Acts the 7th chapter and Acts the 17th chapter, because they're on there talking about, oh, well, the church is God's place, right? How can you talk about God on the streets or in your home? You have to be at the church to teach and talk about God. Well, no, because it says in Acts 7 and Acts the 17th chapter that the Lord does not dwell in temples that are built by hands, right? And the scriptures also say, where 2 or more are gathered together in my name, there will I also be, right? So, what we're doing, we're really giving the people the real message, unlike these churches. I mean, hell, man, I remember going to these churches, man, and what they're trying to sell is Dave Ramsey's new financial, guide or whatever. And, everybody gets suckered into buying it, a damn $70 there. I mean, hell, man, my mom bought one, had to borrow the $70 from me. I'm like, oh, don't be buying that. She insisted. So I was like, okay, it's just so I don't have to hear it. Here's the money. Leave me alone. So she goes and gets it. Here it is 5 years later. It's still sitting on the shelf and the plastic was never taken off.
Jeez.
So that's what these churches are, man, is they're there to sell you a product.
Do you know how many freaking burrito bowls that could buy $70? That's me. That's like 2 months of burrito bowls, man.
I mean, hell, man, $70. I mean, hell, I can live off that an entire year.
1 year, really? Only $70.
I mean, hell, I'm not even. Hey, look, man, that's just the level of poverty that I find myself in.
You're gonna have to like eat from the fruits of the in the trees in the countryside or something.
Right.
ETT's hoping that literally the last is first, so he's gonna be first. He's hoping that that's literal. So we'll.
So he will be the highest.
Yeah, he's gonna be number one. He's gonna be top dog.
Hey, and this is another topic. This is another topic we can discuss. But I was reading, I believe it was the book of Luke, right? When Christ is with the apostles, when they're having the Passover, he said, "What? That in my kingdom, I'll drink this fruit of the vine with you in the kingdom." And there's another verse where somebody basically said, blessed is he who eats bread in the kingdom of God, right? So I'll use that to say, hey, well, look, when the kingdom's ruling on earth, you're going to be eating and drinking, right? You're going to be, engaging in sexual intercourse with women. You got guys out there saying that's not true. Mighty God, what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I'll give you a verse that's a good one too. Related to that. Yeah, I think as much as it's going to be amazing, it's going to be familiar to us. It's not going to be, completely different than our experience here. Obviously, everything's going to be clean and all that, but yeah, I mean, there are many verses that support that. I would say, I'll find it, but
Hey, the
yeah, I mean,
scriptures say in that day,
yep,
so sorry to cut you off, man.
yeah,
Just to
go
add
ahead.
in there, the scriptures say, what is that? Isaiah 4:1. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, right? And that's the kingdom. Another thing as well is Christ told the apostles in Matthew the 19th chapter that what they lost on this side, they're going to gain all that back. And one thing was wives, right? Multiple women. They're going
Yeah,
to gain all that back in the kingdom, right? Because the Lord set up man and woman at the beginning, right, to multiply with each other. So how is that not going to be here in the new kingdom? Now somebody's going to be slick and go to, what is that verse that says that in the resurrection they're neither marrying or nor given in marriage, and they'll use that to say, we'll see, that proves it. It's like, no, because in the scriptures there's multiple different resurrections, but that's a whole different topic of itself. But what
but
it's saying,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish. My bad.
Yeah, what I was saying is when your spirit's taken up from your body, right, you're no longer married with that person, right? The woman is now freed from you and she can go and be with another man because you both are not married anymore because you departed from this world, right? So that's what it says when they are resurrected. When your spirit goes up after you die, you're resurrected to the spiritual world. Now your wife is freed from you and she can go and marry who she would like. That's another topic we can discuss at a different time. Mine, I will throw the mic back to you.
Yeah, I would say, even the references of Matthew 8:11, and I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. And so the kingdom is described as a feast. We have no reason to not believe that that's literal. Like I obviously, we don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, I mean, I think that this is my guess. I don't necessarily stick to this, and people have different view. They could be right. I could be right, but I do believe there's a period where Christ will rule on this earth. Let's say it's 1,000 years. That could be literal, could be longer, but and then after that, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what happens after that. And so that's the part where I would say the verses of Christ saying that we will be like infants. That's what it means. So, but yeah, is there a
Real
literal
quick,
time period of Christ ruling on earth where we're going to be, quote unquote, eating and drinking? I believe that is true. Yeah.
real quick, I have to throw this out there. Remember, and we can segue on to this, but our friend More Than a Flame is saying that remember that all happened already, right? The Christ already ruled for a millennia, right? And we're after that time now. That's what he's saying. Mighty God, what do you think about that nonsense?
LOP, can you just mute when you're not speaking? It might be your mic, but
That's not me because
oh,
I'm
sorry.
muted most of the time, bro.
No, my bad. Whoever that is. But no, I mean, no, it's going to be things are going to get built. There's going to be servants, and we see that in the Bible. So there's going to be something to do. So that it has to be. What else are we going to do? Just sit there and do nothing? Like, yeah, there's going to be but it's going to be all done in righteousness according to the law. And so why would God's laws need to exist in the kingdom if those acts are not happening in the kingdom, right? ETT, you would agree with that, right? Like, why would there be laws for dealing with marriage if there's not going to be marriage, in the kingdom? Or why would there be laws related to how to treat your servants if there's not going to be servants in the kingdom? What the hell's the point of it? You know what I mean? So
And another good one.
Yeah.
Another good point to pull out is Christ told the apostles that you'll sit upon thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. It's like, well, wait a second. In the kingdom, why are people going to need to be judged if they don't go off and commit things which are contrary to the law? How does that make sense?
Yeah, they're going to have some amount of free will. I think it's going to be limited. I do think the elect will not go off. That's my understanding. The 104, they will have the law written on the inward part. So they're not able to go off because they're going to be implementing the law. But do the other nations, Do they have some wiggle room and they're going to be judged? Yeah, they are, and we have
And
verses to support
here's
that.
a very interesting point to bring up is if you go to the last couple of chapters dealing with the kingdom when it's established, it says what that those who do unrighteously and those who commit abominations, they will not be allowed to enter into the gates of the kingdom. So that implies, from my understanding, that certain people will still do wicked actions, but they're not going to be allowed to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. They're going to be have to be held outside, if that makes sense. Because we know that there's going to be other kingdoms on earth, but they're going to be under the Most High. They're going to have to abide by the rules that the Most High sets up. And the way to prove that is it says what? That the kings of the earth shall bring their glories and their riches into the gates of the Most High. So my question is, well, where are these kings coming from if they're not coming from, real kingdoms that are also on earth, right? So we know that the one supreme kingdom will be Christ, but then under him, you're going to have the other heathen nations all over the world who are going to have their power structures, but they're going to be under the dominion of Christ, which that's a whole nother topic. We could talk about that for probably 3 hours at a time. But that's a topic I want to discuss in the future. But anyway, I'll throw it back to Mind of God now.
Yeah, I think all we would agree, and I think ETTI, I would say the Hebrews in general, they don't necessarily believe they live it, but I want people to know that what we're realizing now, because the 501c3 church does not teach this, and in fact, they go against the law in terms of their teaching on rainbows and all that other stuff, and clean foods, and even the narrative, the it thing that we talk about now. I want people to understand that we know now that God's laws are eternal. So that's the way that God looks down and wants to see things done, and that's not going to change. And the kingdom, whatever happens after that, if there is something quote unquote after that, it's never going to change. And so that's the way that God wanted us to behave around one another and with ourselves, food and all that. So it's not going to change. And so that and we want that. That's what all of us realize now, is that that's the way that a society should be run according to the laws of God. And then I'm anxious for that. I cannot, I don't know, like, I can't wait, because this world is against all those laws. So I want to see what it looks like when it's only those laws. I'm very curious. Let's just say that, very curious. So
Hey, I wanted to ask,
that's
I
it.
wanted to ask one thing about so when you said the kingdoms and the gates of the New Jerusalem, right? The gates, only certain people will be allowed there. So do you think there will be only a certain amount of people, and is it only the 144,000, or is there gonna be more there? Inside, like within the gate of the city, and you see
Well,
the size of the city is huge too. It's like somebody compared, like it's almost as big as the whole Texas and it's like a cube shape kind of. I mean, it has either
let me.
sides the same. Like if you read a description of the city, you know. And
Okay, let me tackle that real quick. From my understanding, from what I read, the ones who are going to be allowed in are the elect of the Most High, right? The ones who receive salvation, right? The ones written in the Book of Life will be able to dwell in the kingdom of the Most High. Right now, we don't know the entire layout in all detail, right? That's we're going to see that physically. But with that being said, it does say that the other nations on earth will bring their glory and riches to the gates of the kingdom. Okay, so will they be able to come in and give their may I say tribute? We might see. Okay, we'll see. Maybe they will be allowed to come in to do that, because we know, going by what we read, that the streets will be paved with gold, right? So we know that people can, come in and walk. Right now, as far as where the Most High will dwell, you might have to be, they'll probably not gonna be able to allow to enter into that. But as far as the specifics, right, and down to great detail, I don't think we could say anything on that as of today. We'd have to wait until the kingdom is established, here on the earth. But it also should be mentioned that the scriptures say that all nations will come and worship before the Most High. Okay, so as far as the individual details on it, that's something that we should all look deeper into. Okay, but I don't think we'll know in entirety until the kingdom is established here on the earth. I'll throw it over to Mind of God then.
Yeah, I'll read the verses related to that. There's a lot of mystery, but there's a lot of order for sure. Revelation 21:24, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light. And save, I want people to understand that means you're preserved. That means your soul does not get collapsed to the Most High. That means that it's not burning in a furnace or something. Okay, that's what save means. Saves is like you're exempt. You're saved from that. Okay, from being destroyed. Revelation 21:24, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. Listen to this, verse 25. And the gates of it shall not be shut by day, and there shall be no night there. Verse 26. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. Verse 27. And there shall in no wise enter it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. So it's essentially saying that God's elect are going to be, whether you believe it's actually the gate itself, they're going to be the temple, the 144,000. And so they're going to be the ones who are ultimately getting the message from Christ, who's getting the message from the Most High, and they're going to be the kings, and what we know from the Bible is that leadership is going to be righteous. We don't have to worry about Biden, Trump, Putin, any of those. They're not going to be actors. They're not going to try and jab you with whatever the hell they feel like. Then yeah, we don't know what's going to happen after that. What's the directive going to be? We can't know that. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna head out for tonight. So.
Hey, wait, real quick. I just want to say, Awake in Pennsylvania, if you want to, do another show with me on the, the teenage, topic, just send me an email and we can work out a day to do that when you're available.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. Usually like during the weekend, like early. Like maybe a Saturday or Sunday, like in the morning or noon, will work.
Okay, that sounds cool, man. Just send me a message on the Google Hangouts, or on the Gmail. Send me a Gmail message and tell me, when you're available, what weekend day you're off, and I'll, look and see if I'm available then, and then we can come and do another show. Because I remember last time you came on for a half an hour, but you had to go early. But this time we could probably go for an hour and a half or so. We can have a good discussion on it because we didn't get to have a very long one last time. But yeah, man, a lot of people liked that video we did last time. We got a lot of good, feedback in the comments, on that video.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, I'm definitely down to do that, man. I don't know when you're available. As I said, I'll give you an email if you're down for it. I want to make sure I'm like really not doing anything or don't have anything right away to do. And we can do that. That sounds really good. And I'll let you know. I'll shoot you an email when we can arrange to have that.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, man. I'll catch you around then.
All right,
Peace out,
sounds
AP.
good, man.
Take care.
All right, peace out, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, real quick, I just want to say that I'm going to go for another 10 minutes, but then I'm going to end the show off with that because we've actually been live for almost 3 hours now. So, I'm going to let it play to 3 hours, because of my OCD. But then I'll close up, when we hit that 3 hour mark. But yeah, LOP, is there any last minute questions that you want to, have us answer that we have not yet addressed?
I think well, what if those people like outside the gates, or so to speak, they will also have like what you said, no pain and no suffering, because or they will still suffer. What are your thoughts on that? Like,
No, they won't. They won't.
Well,
so
I would
basically
have to say.
then.
Go ahead.
They are then safe then, because like that's all that matters.
Well,
no pain and no suffering for me anyway.
Real quick, I have to say this. The scriptures say what? Him that leads into captivity, he himself, he must be taken into captivity. He that kills with the sword, he must be killed with the sword, right? So my understanding is the other heathen nations are going to be put in servitude to Israel for a period of time, but then they're going to be liberated from that. And then they're going to be allowed to have their nations, but they're going to have to abide under the law of the Most High, because there's clearly a good 20 scriptures that speak about servitude in the kingdom. Now, whether one wants to call it servitude, slavery, whatever word you use, I mean, it's very clear that the other heathen nations are going to be in servitude in the kingdom, right? They're going to be coursed with building the kingdom, bringing tribute to it, and there's clearly many verses that speak about the Israelites ruling over the people with rods of iron, right? I mean, it literally says that. It says Christ is going to, beat people. I mean, I'm not making that up. It literally says that in the text,
No,
right?
you're
So mine
making
and
that
God
up,
will hear.
dude. What part are they
Does it not
beating
say that?
people? Well, where does it say beating
Okay,
over
real
the
quick.
head? Yeah,
Okay, real quick, mine and God, I have a question for you.
yeah.
Can you please tell me what Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26 means? I just want to know that real quick. Well, what does
I'll
that
read
mean?
it first. Yeah, that's fine.
Read
That's
it,
fine.
read it, read it first. Go ahead.
Yeah, Revelation 2:26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations. That's God's elect for sure.
Oh,
Okay,
read
so he's
on,
gonna
read
have
on.
power over the nations. I have no problem with that.
No,
We
no, no,
agree.
you don't. Read on, read on.
Oh, okay,
What
sorry.
does it say?
Yeah, I only got that verse, but I'll pull up the rest. 26, now 27. He shall rule them with a rod of iron, and as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
So that doesn't qualify as a form of punishment.
No, not at all. I've done a lesson on this. Ruling with a rod of iron, if you read up that phrase in the blue letter, it's a strict rulership. Very, very strict.
But it
Okay.
says that they shall be beaten to. If you read it, it says what? They shall be beaten.
No,
That's
as
what
the
it says.
vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. It means like they'll be afraid. There'll be a power.
Broken
They'll
to
be
shivers.
afraid of the power. It's like that, that it will happen. Like there's no making up your own ideas kind of thing.
How broken to shivers? That's a metaphor.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And listen, it
yeah.
even says, even as I received of my Father. So as Christ is subservient to the Father, the nations are going to be, there's not going to be any like wiggle room. Like, oh no, I don't feel like doing that or whatever. No, then there's judgment. Then they may not make it rain on their crops. Then they can do things to them, if they don't want to come to the
How
feast
was
and all that. Yeah.
How was Christ bruised of the Father, for lack of better words, like a pot, as we read? How did Christ do that? Because from when I read the story, right,
Yeah.
what happened was Christ was brutally beaten and was nailed to a cross, right? So would you agree that that's how Christ was bruised of the
Mhm.
Father, right, by going through a physical beating in the flesh? Do you agree with that?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so by logical deduction, how could you say that's not if you said it just like what happened to Christ?
No, I mean I'm just is this your only verse where you believe that this is where people are
No,
going to
no,
be beat over the
there's
head?
at least 20 more I could pull out, but I mean I didn't expect to go into that, but just why we brought it up, I brought up the one verse for
Yeah.
us to address. But there's easily
I
another
think
good 20, 25.
yeah, so just so people, just this is where we differ. What the what the Bible teaches, okay, and this is the part ultimately where we disagree, is that you believe that people are burned in the lake of fire. You believe their soul is going to get brought back into the kingdom, right? Somehow.
Correct.
Okay, so that's where we disagree.
Well,
So,
hold on, real quick. The scriptures speak about two resurrections. It says, "Blessed is the man who is part of the first resurrection."
yeah,
But the second resurrection, the people are going to have to be burned in that second death, but they're going to be brought back into God's kingdom. Because
where
at
does
the
it
end of
say
the
to
day, the
brought back
wicked.
into the kingdom? That part. That's what I'm wondering.
And I will pull up those verses in a future lesson, and I will go into detail on those.
Just for people to understand, Isaiah 10:18, and shall consume the glory of his forest and his fruitful field, both soul and body.
But
Okay, so I just want
there's
people to know. Again, I'm not. This is one
Sorry.
second, just so people understand our difference. Is that ETT's teaching is that a person that's burned, whether it be in the fire of America or the fire from these UFOs, that soul does not actually get collapsed back to the Most High. You believe that it's, I guess, reincarnated or regenerated back into the kingdom, right? That's your understanding.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so my understanding, which I believe is clear what the Bible teaches and what Christ says, that body and soul, that destruction means that just is collapsed back to God, and it's no longer out there to deceive or to be evil. And so that's why I agree with you actually in this sense, that if those souls were back in the kingdom, you would need to beat them because they're going to be evil. They're going to keep doing that. So yeah, if that is the case, then you would need to beat them over the head. But my view, which is what I believe the Bible teaches very clearly, that when it says body and soul are going to be destroyed, it doesn't mean that it's going to be preserved or whatever. That doesn't make sense. So the kingdom is going to be
Can I
filled
ask
with.
just?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to ask one thing real quick. I
Yeah.
accept that, and you know what? You could be right, and I could be wrong, and
Yeah.
I'll respect that. But one thing I do have to ask though is it clearly says that the other nations in the kingdom, right? The other nations are going to bring their glories to the kingdom. So my question to you
Yeah.
is, where are these other nations that are not of Israel? Where are they coming from? Weren't they all destroyed in that second death? Where are these other people who are not Israel coming that are giving glories and riches to the nation of Israel? Where are these people coming from?
Yeah, I'll tell you. That's a good question. I'll read it in Revelation 14. Revelation 14 tells us exactly where they are coming from. Okay. Oh, sorry, not in Revelation 14. 1 second, sorry. These are the ones that came out of the Great Tribulation. Revelation 7, sorry. So yeah, just so people understand, like the elect are all Israelites. Okay, we know that from Revelation 7. And then this is John the Revelator, who's being asked asking who these people are. Okay, verse Revelation 7:13, and one of the elders saying, "Say unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they?" Verse 14, and I said unto him, "Sir, thou knowest." And he said to me, "These are they which came out of the great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." And so this group has come out of the great tribulation, and so they were the ones that were beheaded. They were the ones that were killed. So the elect don't die. They do not die. They receive salvation. But this group, which are from all nations, are the ones that gave up their life. And they're from all nations. They're also Israelites.
Yeah, we're certainly going to have to disagree on that one, because I would say those are talking about the elect there. So we're certainly going to have to disagree on that. But anyway, we'll end the show off with that. I do want to give LOP another chance to speak. So LOP is, what are your closing thoughts on that? Do you have any last minute, things that you'd like to address with us, or the mic's all yours.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say that there was one verse, and I don't think where exactly, but it says like that all men shall be saved, especially those that believe. So maybe like even those that like are, and there are many verses that kind of say that you gotta go through hell, but you still gotta be like nobody's gonna say. Like, I don't believe in eternal torture. I think even from the Bible, it's not. I don't think that's even imaginable. Suffer eternally, being
It doesn't
tortured
make sense.
eternally, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Because like yeah. So I believe God will give everybody a chance, even if you could like you have to spend some time in hell, but then when you pay for all your sins, then it's like what Jesus said, the parable that you will that's a clear to prison. He's make a similitude to the prison when he said, thou shalt not get out of there until you pay the uttermost farthing, which means like until you pay for all your sins, you're not gonna get out of there, but you're gonna get out of there one day.
Clear. So sorry to cut you off. I do want to make it clear though. When I say that that the other nations are going to go into servitude in the kingdom, I'm not saying they're going to be in that state forever. That's just for a certain period of time, right? When they put the children of Israel into servitude, they have to pay for putting the Lord's people into servitude, right? You reap what you sow. Okay, that's why it says what? Him that goes into he that leads into captivity, he himself must be taken into captivity, right? So for a certain period of time, they're going to be rewarded back with the way that they
but they
have
didn't
done
do
to
that.
other people.
They didn't do that.
Right,
God did that. God did that.
But did they, for an example, if somebody murders somebody, did they do that? Yes, but God ordained that, but they did do it, right?
No, but God was the one who orchestrated the punishment of the Israelites for a lack of faith. So it's a righteous judgment. It's a balance.
That is true, but did men put them into slavery?
Let me give you an example in a courtroom. If you have a judge, right, who represents God, and then you have the bailiff, and then you have the guilty party who represents the Israelites, do you go and beat the bailiff because the judge says to go put that person in jail? Is it the bailiff's fault, or is it God who said do that? Why would
Well,
the
it
bailiff?
is.
Why would the bailiff get the punishment when they're going to get the punishment in the lake of fire, no doubt. But like, why did they get punished more when God did that? God did that to the so-called Negroes.
Right, and I agree with that, right? But just for an example, right? If somebody commits murder, did God ordain that? Yes. But is the person still going to be punished for committing murder? Yes. Right. So it's very simple to understand that the Lord had it set up that way. God did do that, but the person is going to be punished for doing that. Okay,
They
which
are in the
that's
lake
a
of
whole
fire.
nother.
Yeah, they are. They're going to
All
be
right.
destroyed.
Okay, I'll accept that. But just real quick to finish my statement,
Yep.
I'm not saying that the heathen are going to be punished forever without mercy. I'm not saying that. They're going to serve their servitude, but then they're going to be allowed to roam freely. They're going to, then other nations, after a certain period of time of servitude, they're going to be allowed to go free and just they're going to have to live under the laws of the Most High, but then they're going to be allowed to go and dwell in their own lands, right? They're not going to be they're not going to be servants to Israel forever. They're going to then be able to allow to be elevated from that position to go live their own lives wherever, but they're going to have to dwell under the commandments of the Most High. Okay, so I
ETT.
should make it clear,
Yep.
real quick.
Yep.
I do want to make it clear that one day on Earth there will be peace on Earth one day. And
Yeah.
we're talking, I don't know how far away from the time of Christ when He returns, but yes, eventually one day on Earth there will be peace throughout all the nations, right? So I do have to make that clear. I'll throw it back to mine again.
Just something to think about. I know you probably know my position, but just so Revelation 7, right? It goes through the 12 tribes right up to verse 8. And listen to this in verse 9. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number. They just finished numbering the 144,000. So you confuse these verses, and they're not the same. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man can number. Listen to this, of all nations, of kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hand. And so that also is supported in Revelation 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, which had not worshipped the beast. They were beheaded. So this is not God's elect. And so that's the group that, like it says here, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. That's the other nations. And they're all at least righteous as the Pharisees because they did not worship the beast. They didn't take the mark. So that's where you get the nations, all the nations that will serve the elect.
Real quick, I do
Yep.
got to ask, man of God, are you willing to do a part 3 to our debate, and we can address these topics of discussion?
Ooh, dude, I messaged you on Hangouts. I was ready for that, man. I think the world's ready for a part 3, T-Mog versus ETT. Yeah,
I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Can we, when you get your new time back, can we do that on your page? We can schedule a date to have a debate, right? We can bring up these topics. I do want to bring up the scriptures that speak about the servitude, and we can address those. You can give me your understanding, I'll give you mine.
Yeah,
we can bring up these topics, right? We did that 3 years ago now. So hey, I think it's time for another round. And that's cool with us. We keep it civil, even though we might disagree. That's cool, right? That's cool.
Cool.
But anyway, LOP, any last things you want to say before I end the show off?
No, man, it's been a great show though. It's over 3 hours, and here it's already 4 a.m. So I'm gonna have to go soon. Anyway,
all right.
Thanks a lot for having me on the show and discussing all these things. I'm really glad we did.
Yeah, LOP, you're certainly welcome, man. And hey, look, anytime you see us live, man, you're certainly welcome to come on to the show and, we can talk. We all, even though some of us might see differently, we all consider each other to be family, right? At the end of the day. Because hey, look, at the end of the day, man, we're all just looking to receive salvation, right? So even though we all might have certain differences, at the end of the day, we're just trying to make it onto those chariots, so we all got to work out our own salvation. But at the end of the day, man, we're all there for one another. So yeah, LOP, I thank you for joining us.
Man. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding at the beginning of the show. So that was my bad. But yeah, man, I thank you for stopping by. And hey, man, when you see us live next time, you're certainly welcome to come back onto the show with us, man.
Yeah, sure, man. Thanks a lot. And all right, have a good night, guys. Bye.
Take care. Yeah.
Take care now.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Thanks.
Oh man, that was a long debate, man.
Dude, I'm nonstop, man. The Bible, you can't get enough of it in these days, man. It's 24/7. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, man, on your page, we'll have to when you get your new time, we'll definitely have to set up, round 3.
Yeah, dude, just ping me, man. It resets tomorrow, so you can drop by tomorrow. I'm talking about Christ's second and third coming, which the Bible has 2 occurrences, right? ETT. Of Christ.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good discussion.
Yeah, I'll go through my verses. You can join if you want after, man. But yeah, I mean, if you want to do it tomorrow or like another time after that, it's probably better to do it on a different one. So the topic is
Yeah. I'm not looking to debate that tomorrow. But I'll come on and we can chat. I'm sure you'll go for a while because tomorrow's your time when it runs out for the month, right?
Yeah, I actually have enough to do one before that, but I just picked tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yep.
What time are you doing it tomorrow, you say?
If I play golf, I may move it around, so people maybe just put your notifications on. But I'm planning right now around. Actually, sorry, I don't think the weather's good tomorrow, so I can do it a bit earlier. So maybe.
All right, that sounds
5.
cool, man.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. So yeah, man, I'll definitely, if I can, which I'll probably be able to unless I'm asleep. But yeah, man, I'll stop by, just put a link down in the chat and all, certainly hop on and we can chat for a while. But yeah, man, I enjoyed, the chat as always. But yeah, hey, if you get the chance, re-upload it on your page because this was a great discussion.
I will. Yeah, I like this one, man. Thanks for having me, man. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'll see you around. Let me see. It's like, damn, I didn't expect to go that long. It was about what, 3 hours, 10 minutes? Which for the record, my longest stream ever was let me see if my memory serves me correct. I believe the longest stream I've been in was actually 5 hours. So this wasn't the world record for as long as I went live. I'd done it for free. Yeah, I mean 5 hours passed. But damn, this was a long one, right? I really enjoyed this discussion. I sadly had to leave for maybe I think a half an hour of it, just to get back before mosquitoes ate me alive. But yeah, I really enjoyed that discussion, right? LOP wanted to come on for a while now, so I, told him to come on. Just to, discuss with us, so I might rename this video something else because it wasn't necessarily a debate. It was, pretty much a civil discussion on certain different topics of discussion. So hey, make sure everyone gives this video a like and yeah, share this video, right? Hit that subscribe button, put on the bell icon. And if anybody would also like to join us for a debate in the future on any given topic, you are welcome to send me a Gmail message. Just go to my channel, go to the About section, and you'll see my Gmail there. Just hit me up and tell me what you'd like to discuss, and we'll bring you on the show. And also, we're gonna bring another brother onto the show. He was gonna come on yesterday, but he had to reschedule it for this coming week. He wanted to discuss the topic of the Trinity, salvation for all nations, and let's see, what was the third topic you wanted to discuss? Damn, I can't remember the third topic, but yeah, he wanted to come on to the show and have a discussion with us. So in the next week here, we're going to bring him on the show and have a discussion on those topics. And I believe he has not been on the show before, so that's going to be cool to bring him on for the first time. So just make sure you have that notification bell so you get the notification. Let me see. We're going to be live on Mind of God's channel tomorrow. So, just stop by and you can, join us on there. As far as, my page, I have to watch my video time because I believe I only have 15 hours left for, the next, 30 days here or so. So I got to conserve it, for lack of better words. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be the video there. If anybody watched this far into the video, I want you to put hashtag, let's see, put hashtag 2001. All right, just, for a little inside joke for anybody who made it this far into the show, put hashtag 2001 in the comment section down below. And no, that's not a 9/11 joke, just to put that out there. Just put that hashtag if you made it this far. into this show. But yeah, I'm gonna let the video play out for another 2 minutes just because of my OCD. I'll end it at 3 hours 15 minutes. But I mean, I don't think there's really much else for me to go over. I think we covered everything I want to bring out all for this in particular show. It was a great discussion, with our friend LOP, right? Very good discussion back and forth. But as far as I'll touch on the slavery thing, right? Mind of God said there's not servitude in the kingdom. I would have to beg to differ with that. You know why? Because well, I mean, there's 25 verses you can pull up. But regarding the one I presented, right, dealing with he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and they shall be beaten as a broken pot, nearly paraphrasing the scripture. But I mean, it's very clear that's talking about servants in the kingdom, right? People being physically beat. For you to say it's not, well, you're adding to the text, because I mean, it literally says that. Another one that goes with that, what is that? I believe that's Psalms, the 2nd chapter, and you can look it up yourself. All right, it says, "Ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, and thou shalt break them like a pot of iron." Okay, right? Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Right. So there's so many scriptures that can be presented. All right, mind of God said I didn't say that. All right, so maybe we can discuss it another day, right? Because I don't want to put the words in your mouth. Okay, so maybe you didn't say it exactly like that, but just to put for the record, right? For lack of better words, for the record, it's very clear that there's servitude in the scriptures, right? In the kingdom of heaven, the other nations are going to be in servitude to the nation of Israel for a certain period of time. Why? Because on this side, those nations had Israel in division, right? These other civilizations throughout history, like the Egyptians, right? They're going to have to go into servitude under the Israelites. Why? Because it was vice versa on this side. So the Lord deals with balance. Okay. So, hey, look, I brought up the verse, right? He that leads into captivity, he himself must be taken into captivity. He that kills with the sword, he has to be killed with the sword. Right. So, it's very simple. Okay. Mind of God said, let's discuss on round 3. All right. That's cool. Okay. That's cool. Mind of God said, all nations will serve the 144,000. Okay, good. We're in agreement. But the one part that we don't agree on is I teach that the nations are going to be, bruised, right? They're going to be physically harmed, right? Physically beaten in the kingdom, as I clearly have proven. All right. I mean, it's very clear. The Israelites were physically harmed, right? Look what happened on the slave ships. Do those people, are they going to get a slap on the hand and just say, oh, well, I forgive you for that? Okay. Now, there's certain points where the Lord could, give a divine forgiveness. What is that? I believe that's Romans 9 and 15. I'll have compassion on who I will have compassion, and mercy on who I decide to have mercy on. Right. So if the Lord wanted to do that, he could. But you know what? The Lord is an even balance, right? That's why you have a saying that goes, you reap what you sow. Right. So since the nations served, the Israelites poorly, they're going to also have to be subjected to a harsh punishment for a period of time in Christ's kingdom. And that's only a fair judgment, right? And the Lord is fair. Okay. His people had to go through a hardship. So the heathen also have to go through a hardship in the kingdom. That's just a fair balance. But it will also be balanced because for a while they're going to have to serve servitude, but then they're going to be allowed to be lifted up from that servitude. Okay, so we're not saying that forever the other nations are just going to be in servitude and they'll never be uplifted from that. We're not saying that, right? We're saying that the nations will, for a period of time, be subject to harsh punishments, but then there's going to come a time where they'll be uplifted from that when their punishment is fulfilled. Just like, for an example, the Israelites, they were in pure, hardcore bondage, which we're still in bondage today, but it's not as hardcore as it was a few hundred years ago, right? But we had to go through it for a period of time. And then the hard bondage, like being whipped and whatnot, that was uplifted from us, right? We're still in bondage, but it's not as, may I say, brutal as it was back then, right? So the nations have to, go through something very similar. That's only what you call justice. Okay, so I'm gonna pretty much end the show off with that. I'll let it play till for another 2 minutes because of my OCD. Which look that word up if you don't know what that means. Let me just hit the comments. LOP said, I did make an instrumental song called 144,000. If you guys want to check my music, this one's just instrumental. Yeah, man, I might check that out if I remember. Mighty God said, God has put all people in bondage. Mighty God, can you show me where it says that every person on earth has been put in bondage? Because it might be in the scriptures, but if you could show me, that'd be good. Let me say, for an example, are the Rockefellers and the top ones who rule the society, the upper class, are all of those people in bondage? Very interested to see that answer. Anyway, he said God put his own son on the cross. Right, Christ put his own son on the cross to take the sins away from Israel, right? But wait, if the Lord put his own son on the cross, well, why wouldn't he make the other nations suffer servitude if he did it to his own son? He made his own son suffer, a brutal punishment, right? Anyway, that's going to be the end of the show. I'll continue that with Mind of God, when we do round 3 of the Mind of God versus ETT debate. That'd be a very good discussion. So I look forward to it. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the show, right? Just like, what's that guy? Flat Earth Man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end of the show. It's like, all right. So anyway, put hashtag 2001 in the comment section. And yeah, that's going to be the end of our show. Just make sure you have the notifications on so you're notified next time we go live. So, yeah, I'll say it one more time. If anyone watching would like to have a discussion with us in the future, just send me a message on Gmail, and we'll get all that situated, and you can come on and we can discuss it. Let me just hit the last comments. Fresh and New said the elites are slaves to God's will. I do agree with that. Almighty God said, Jesus answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. All right, I do agree with that. Okay, but I don't see the correlation that you're trying to make between the Lord has made all men bound. Right? Maybe that's a misunderstanding, but we can address that another time. That's fine. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the show for tonight. Hope this was an edifying show, and I'm going to say shalom.